Vets is eager to treat your pet like family and provide the best veterinarian, grooming, and boarding services in Jacksonville. We know your holiday season is full of stresses. Let Forever Vets and our animal-loving staff help out. Space is limited, so call or visit forevervets.com today to secure your spot and check one more thing off your holiday list.
Redboat Tours welcomes the one and only Santa Claus for 2 tours, 1 day only.
Ho, ho, ho! Join me on Pelicano with Captain Tony and Miss Jennifer. I can't wait to see you. Ho, ho, ho! Don't forget your list. Ho, ho, ho!
Scenic water tours with Santa are from 1 to 2 and 2:30 to 3:30 on Saturday, December 16th. And at just $15 per person, spots are filling up fast. Reserve your tour with Santa now at redboattours.com.
Imagine your message being heard by thousands and thousands of people. Radio builds business. Our experienced team will work closely with you to create compelling, customized advertising campaigns that deliver results. Join the ranks of our successful advertisers who've seen their business thrive with our audience. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to grow your business. Contact us today at buildjax@cmg.com. That's BUILDJAX@cmg.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the Eagles added linebacker help. ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting they're signing former Colts All-Pro Shaq Leonard to a 1-year deal. He also met with the Cowboys last week. After making a statement in their road route of the Eagles, the 49ers are the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl, 3-1 at ESPN Bet, shortest Super Bowl odds for any team this season. Yesterday made it clear it is San Francisco, then everybody else, believes ESPN NFL analyst Rex Ryan.
They're 49, plus 49 against their opponent. Nobody in the league is close to that. Nobody's close. So they play phenomenal on offense, and they're phenomenal on defense. This is a team that has no weaknesses. And so, to me, it's not close.
Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett had surgery for a high ankle sprain. Mitchell Trubisky will start in his place Thursday night versus the Patriots. NFL Week 13 closes out tonight. Jags, Bengals, Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ABC and ESPN. With a win, Jacksonville pulls into a tie with Baltimore and Miami atop the AFC. Jaguars are optimistic running back Travis Etienne will play.
Are you overwhelmed by insurance? Make it easy. Get all your insurance in one place with Geico. Plus, get 24/7 claim support and on-the-go policy access with the award-winning Geico mobile app. See how easy insurance can be and go to geico.com.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! Ow! It really hit me.
Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, what's happening? And welcome to Everbank Stadium on a big night in Jacksonville as the Jacksonville Jaguars play Monday Night Football for the first time since 2011. That year they had a couple of games on Monday Night Football. Baltimore and the then San Diego Chargers, they split those games, lost 38-14, won 12-7. Ironically, in a couple of weeks, the Jaguars will get another primetime game against the Baltimore Ravens, and it might mean everything when it comes down to seeding in the AFC, and that's all dependent on maybe what happens tonight and even tomorrow with the next week with the Jacksonville Jaguars in Cleveland, and it could set up a big-time showdown for both squads to determine that top seed, the first-round bye, and home field throughout the playoffs. That's the position the Jaguars now find themselves in, which is unbelievable if you really think about it. 18 months ago, the Jaguars were picking number 1 in the draft for a second consecutive year, and now they're looking at a different kind of number 1, the number 1 seed. Brent Martineau here at Everbank Stadium, back in the Action Sports Shack studios. Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter. Oh, we've got a few things to talk about today, boys.
We have a lot to talk about, don't we? It's an exciting day in Duuuval.
Absolutely it is. I think people are fired up for it. This game loses a little bit of luster from a competition standpoint because of Joe Burrow. I mean, this is what it was supposed to be, right? Burrow against Lawrence, number one picks, and two really good football teams. Maybe this game determining a number one seed in the AFC. That's not what we have. We have a 3-game losing streak for the Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow is not playing. I still think the Cincinnati Bengals are way more dangerous than maybe Las Vegas thinks they are to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that does not eliminate any of the excitement. The Monday night game means a lot for the folks here in Jacksonville, means a lot for the players in the locker room. The bright lights, the big stage with a game that means a lot, and a football team playing some of the best football in the National Football League. They have won 7 of 8 games. Kasey, explain to me why it's a 10-point favorite for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that seems a bit lofty.
Because Vegas knows.
Yeah, I guess.
They know, Brent. They watch the Bengals play football. They watch Jake Browning, the experience, the moment, the history, not very good. They watch the Jags play, pretty good. I mean, 10's a lot of points in the NFL. I'm not going to lie to you, Brent, but it kind of feels like the writing's on the wall. One team is good, one team is not.
Yeah, I guess, but 10 points is a lot in the NFL,
man.
Lot
of points, Brent.
Is Cincinnati not good even without Burrow? Like, they are dangerous, man. They got weapons all over the place. If this kid Jake Browning can throw the football forward, you figure they have a chance to score some points, Aaron.
Oh, sounds so simple, Brent, but I don't know if you know of a little team named the New York Jets who go through the same issues and apparently are ready to go back to Zach Wilson. I don't know if you saw the report today.
I did.
Zach says he wants nothing to do with it. I have a feeling, yes, that Mr. Browning is going to feel the same way after this game.
Please don't play me. That's a pretty weird. Aaron, are you just saying, please don't turn my mic on today?
No, well, look, I told you guys at the very beginning of the season, JETS, just end the season. You didn't believe me. Now you understand.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. All right, so, I mean, this game is a game the Jags should get, fair enough. I mean, Vegas thinks so. They're at home. They're playing better football.
It is the NFL,
got the better
Brent.
quarterback.
Not necessarily a cakewalk.
It doesn't – I don't think it is. And maybe that's kind of what scars you a little bit. And, guys, remember, if you go back to a game that you really thought the Jags should have won earlier this season, I think, Kasey, they were 9.5-point favorites by the time that kicked off against Houston.
Oh, boy.
And they got boat raced in that game. I mean, that's like I guess that's where I'm at. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to assume anything. And this team's way better than Houston on paper, but, of course, they don't have the quarterback. They've got a lot of other things. But they don't have the quarterback. So I think Cincinnati's going to put up a better fight than people think. I think this is going to be a little more difficult than people think. I do like the Jags tonight. There's certain reasons to like the Jags. And, guys, I think it starts with the run game. They need to run the football against Cincinnati. They give up 139 yards, which is like 4th worst in the National Football League. Gave up about 5 yards a carry. Travis Etienne is going to play in this football game. I don't know if he'll get the whole workload. I think we'll see Dearness Johnson. I think we'll see some Tank Bigsby. But I know this could be a showcase game for the passing game in Trevor Lawrence. But, guys, I think this starts with the run.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense, right? First of all, home game, you want to control the tempo, and the Jaguars realize that they could just kind of keep that ball play, keep away, do those 11 to 14 play drives, really bleed the clock. They don't have to score 50 to win this game. They just need to be in control.
How much do you think they'll split the load, Kasey, today? Etienne obviously nursing a little bit of injury. He's going to play, according to Doug Peterson. He was very confident on Saturday when he met with the media. But it certainly does sound like we could see a little bit more Dearness Johnson, and that hasn't been a bad thing. And we may even get a sprinkle more than the fans want of Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, I have a weird feeling that Dearness Johnson's going to lead the Jags in carries tonight.
Oh.
Really?
It's just a guess. I think they'll understand what the situation is pretty early in the football game and then say, you know what, Dearness Johnson, have a moment.
So, wait, are you saying it is score, like, if it's a tight game, they won't be so loosey-goosey with Etienne on the bench? Is that
I would say, I think that they'll understand early in the game that they're the better team and they just got to do what they got to do to win and maybe not put guys in danger.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess that all is dictated by what the score is. I mean, what you're referring to is basically something that happened against Houston last year. Remember when they went up big and they knew they were limited, and they felt good. And Etienne, I think, had like 9 carries in that game, 108 yards, and boom, they end up taking guys out pretty early in that football game, maybe early in the second half when they put it away. So I think that's a little bit what you're referring to. I think there's a confidence, though, in D'Ernest Johnson. I think also they are going to have to feed more confidence into Tank Bigsby, and I think they're more confident in him than maybe the outside world is. I just think this might be a game you see a bit more of a running back by committee for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, they might surprise the heck out of us, and 20-plus touches for Travis Etienne today. But I will tell you this, if you're playing that daily fantasy stuff or you got a player prop,
Come
Aaron
on,
Schachter
Brett,
on
let's
that
go,
hard
buddy.
rock
Give
bet,
me all the tips. Come on.
I'd be a little careful of that on the ETN front.
Sounds like I'm building a little ETN Bigsby D'Ernest Johnson parlay. Okay.
You might have to do that. How important is it that the Kansas City thing happened last night? Kansas City loses to Green Bay, and now the Jags all of a sudden are in the driver's seat for this top seed. I mean, doesn't that kind of mean everything?
I was watching the game last night thinking it was important, but not for the reason you're talking about. And I understand what you're saying, and I agree it's important for that reason. But last week we were talking about Kansas City still giving him such deference to being the returning Super Bowl champs and the big behemoth. Even though their offense wasn't clicking on all cylinders, you got to pay them so much respect and realize at any given point they could score 35 points. They haven't looked like the same team all season, guys, and last night they really didn't look like the same team we have seen for the past few seasons. They get frustrated at the line of scrimmage. Patrick Mahomes gets a little bit of pressure there. He doesn't have too many options to throw to. And I thought for the purposes of just making them look pedestrian, making them look human, it was kind of important.
Yeah, I think that continued, Kasey. You know, they scored 31 points against the Raiders, and you're like, okay, here they go, right? Maybe that's it. Well, the Packers did a nice job against Mahomes and company. I think what we're seeing is what the Kansas City Chiefs are. I think they're a young, unproven kind of skill set around Patrick Mahomes. I think Travis Kelce is fatigued and beat up and gets a lot of attention and still can get some things done. I think Mahomes is still brilliant, and that's why they still have a chance to win it at the end despite some of their flaws. And by the way, Kasey, you saw last night, they're a banged-up football team. I mean, they had like 4 or 5 guys leave that game against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, them boys are hurt. They got a lot of injuries they're dealing with, but I think it comes down to 2 things. One, that I've said a couple of times, why they didn't upgrade their skill position players is wild. They had plenty of opportunity. They didn't do it. They're riding with guys like MVS who either 1, can't get open, or 2, if he does catch the football. It's basically Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and Isaiah Pacheco. That's what they got. And then 2, at this point, Eric Bieniemy was doing a lot more for that offense than anybody else wants to give credit for, because he leaves and they can't move the football. So there's definitely something there, along with the playmakers. They don't have them, but yeah, I would agree. This is kind of what they are. Defense, though, great. Again, Jordan Love carved him up a little bit last night, but their defense, even though hurt, still really good. So if they can just figure out how to, it's weird to say, but if they can figure out how to score a little bit more, they're still going to be in fine shape.
Yeah, their defense is pretty good. So in the big picture, Kasey, how big is the number 1 seed? It sounds like somewhat of a dumb question, right? Maybe a bit of a rhetorical question at that. How important is the number 1 seed? I say that because I don't know if you need to be like, oh my gosh, I can't go to the Super Bowl, or they can't win if they don't get the number 1 seed. I don't feel that way. I think this team has been very good on the road, as evidenced by their record. They're 5-0. They won 2 neutral site games, essentially, in London. So I think just lace them up anywhere and they can win. That's not to say they're bad at home. I think you'd rather be here. I think they're going to be fine at home. I think they're going to win another one here at home. They lost to 2 good football teams, and they had a bad outing at home so far this year. Kansas City, San Francisco, and obviously the Houston one I'm referring to. And by the way, Houston's a lot better than people gave them credit for. But at the end of the day, now that this is in front of them, they control it. They win tonight. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC for now, which then would set up a couple of huge weeks at Cleveland and especially Baltimore here. How important is it, Kasey, in the grand scheme of things for the Jags to go where they want to go, to be here at home to do it?
Yeah, I still think it's super important, because all that said about Kansas City, I still don't think you want to go there in the playoffs. They don't.
Yeah,
they
nobody
don't
wants to play there in the playoffs.
Right. It doesn't matter what they look like. You don't want to play them there. So, yeah, I think it's a huge deal. And I also think Baltimore, with the way that they want to play and play defense and do what they do, that's not a place you want to go play either. So I think it's still as important as ever. I mean, I think that what they've done on the road is super impressive. So maybe a little less, but yeah, I think it's the ultimate thing.
Aaron, the ultimate? I mean, does it become with, by the way, the Colts and Texans still nipping at the heels of the Jags with wins yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I don't want to, this isn't a foregone conclusion that they are going to win the South. It certainly looks good. They own every tiebreaker. They sweep the Colts. They win all the tiebreakers with the Texans. But are all eyes on that number 1 seed now, and is that rightfully so for the Jags?
Yeah, it's interesting to think, right? 2 years removed from the disasters this whole city got to watch up close. Fighting for a number 1 seed this late into the season, a year ahead of schedule by all, for all intents and purposes. But I think for the importance of the team's own psyche, not to just say we believe in ourselves, but we are proving. We're not just saying we can, we are. I think that's a really important part to this team we haven't seen happen yet.
I would also say the 1 seed that doesn't matter is Miami. I feel like there's no home field anything there. So if Miami ends up being the 1 seed somehow, that's one that I feel like they're good, yeah, for sure. But in terms of home field advantage, are you worried about what Miami does? They don't even
not if you're Jacksonville.
sell seats.
Yeah.
No, I'm a little worried about their record, though, at home, because they must be comfortable there. I think they're undefeated at home. Now, that might be the schedule because of the way the schedule's lined up for them anyway.
It's also because you got these teams coming down to 400% humidity. It's like Jacksonville knows what's up.
But it's also the same deal, home or road. It's Tyreek Hill. They're not winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels that way. And again, a good team or a bad team, right? I mean, that's really been the way for Miami right now, like it or not. I mean, I think they're a really good football team, but they haven't beaten anybody. Like, really haven't beaten. Their strength of schedule and their strength of victory is ridiculously low. I mean, it's insane. It's in the 300s. Everybody else is like around 500 in the AFC. Theirs is like 300. It's crazy. That's not to say they're not good. It's just hard to completely know how good they are. I'll tell you about this one tonight. The home field, I think, after tonight, guys, is going to feel more important to the guys in the locker room. So far this year, they got off to a slow start at home. They lost 2 in a row. They also have these games where Niners fans are pretty numerous, right? Well, tonight against the Cincinnati Bengals, you might see a little of that orange in here. You're going to see a blackout anyway. End zones are black, by the way, getting a lot of comments about that.
It looks so cool, yeah.
But you're going to see Jags fans everywhere. It's going to be reminiscent of the Tennessee game last year. It's going to be reminiscent of the Chargers game last year. And I think what we're going to tell these guys is we want this in January. And you don't probably have to tell them, but I think they're going to feel it is my point. You know what I'm saying? Like, they felt that last year. They would have loved one more home game in front of these crazy fans that were just thirsting for it. Well, I think this is what we're going to get. We're going to get a big one against Baltimore, going to get a big one in the playoffs, hopefully multiple big ones in the playoffs. I mean, these are the crowds now here in Jacksonville for this time of year, and I think these players are going to feel it, which also make them hungry for it. I think it's going to mean something if they could get that top seed in the AFC. And by the way, Aaron, Philadelphia and Doug Peterson won from the top spot in 2017. They got that number 1 seed and then won in the 2018 playoffs there in early January and February to crown that Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's an awesome advantage if you can have it. The franchise knows that as well. You can see that by how often they've been communicating with the fan base about this game, about lighting it up at the stadium tonight. They're going to do some cool fan engagement there to really wrap everyone up and being the 12th man in those seats tonight.
Yeah, I didn't know everybody would like these black end zones so much. I'm getting a lot of comments on that.
Brent, you underestimate the uniform talk and you underestimate the end zone color talk.
I totally do.
You got to learn, bro.
You guys end zone talkers now?
Oh, yeah.
It looks kind of sick.
I've been end zone talker since the beginning of the show, man. You have no idea. You missed the boat.
You were already talking about it when you saw it?
I was already talking about it, just not with you guys, with my other friends.
Okay.
Which are?
You don't know.
Oh, what do you got, the cardboard cutout in there?
I'm just saying, you don't know these guys. That's fine.
It's going to be a fun night here in Jacksonville. I do like the end zones. Like, now that you guys have made me turn around and actually look at them, I was like setting up and stuff.
Now you're on board.
But they do look good.
Well, Kasey, you know what they say? Once the old people get on board, we got to bail. So
don't like him anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of lame.
Should have gone teal.
This guy that's like 2 years younger. I
What?
love that.
It's a long 2 years, though. It's really long.
It's like a whole 600-something days. You know what I mean?
It's been a long 2 years around here. That is for sure, to finally be here. Is this a little pinch yourself for the Jag? Like last year felt pinch yourself.
Yeah, I buy
Does
it.
this now feel normal, or is this pinch yourself like where this thing is at this moment, December 4th, 2023?
Brent, it was 4 weeks ago. The thing was left for dead. They were 6-3, and everyone was like, season's a failure. This is very much pinch yourself right now.
Yeah. The other thing is that loss to San Francisco, doesn't it look a whole lot better?
Oh, yeah.
On Monday?
Oh,
I don't know if 42-3 ever looks good.
But they're out there trouncing everybody, Case.
Well, the wild thing was, I don't understand why everybody thought San Fran was bad after they played 2 bad football games. Like
Not bad, just regular.
That was a wild week if you go back and think about it. You have Bert saying, I don't know, San Fran's that good. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, Brock Purdy, everyone's like, he sucks.
We all lost our mind. Brock did not look good for like a 3-game stretch. San Francisco didn't look good for 2 games. We all lost our minds a little bit.
Who is we all? Go back and check the tape. I said, San Francisco's still good. Not sure what's going on with everybody, but yeah, San Fran's real good, Brent, just to confirm. Real good at the football, probably best in the league.
Yeah.
Probably. Like, it's not even
best
close.
in the league, Brent. Not even close is exactly what I said.
Like, it's not even close to the point where, and this I'm not wishing on this. They They look like they need, like, for the league to catch up with them at this point. What they look like on December 4th, they look like they'll need to, like, suffer an injury that hurts the way their operation goes. I don't know if people can stop them.
Yeah, without a handicap, it doesn't look like there'll be interesting games with them.
Or you need more security guards trying to fight linebackers, get their guys tossed. That's about your only shot.
Man.
That was interesting.
That
and by
was
the way,
wild.
That whole thing was so wild that I thought the Eagles were coming after that, right? Like, I mean, they go score. It's like, oh, this kind of gave him a shot in the arm. And
lit him up.
Boom, right down the field. Deebo Samuel, I think he broke that one right after and scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, they are really good, and they are clicking. I mean, they just have everything working. I was saying to someone today, I think it's because they have everybody now in their system for a bit, right? Purdy's been around 2 years. McCaffrey's been around 2 years. But people have been around Shanahan now for years and years. Ayuk, Deebo, Kittle, offensive line. I think when you look at, like, year twos and where the offense can go and continuity and what the Patriots did for so long and other people, I think when you have that kind of continuity and that kind of skill set to go on top of it, and that kind of beef up front where they're really good. Trent Williams might be the most valuable guy really on that offense, believe it or not, because that's also when they suffered a little bit when he went down.
Those are the games they lost.
Yeah, I think when you have that kind of continuity and guys get it and get what you're trying to do, and now they're just like, they're just in sync. It's like it's Shanahan called just about every play, it seems, at the perfect time. Is he doing that, or are they just executing at a super high level? Maybe it's a combination of both. And Philly's defense, by the way, has warts, right? I mean, and I think it was exposed in
Their
that
offense
football
does,
game.
too, this year. They don't look as impenetrable as they looked last year. Still a very good football team, if not great.
Very good.
I mean, if not for San Francisco, they would be head and shoulders above almost everybody else in the league, if not for Dallas maybe in that conversation. But the reality is, if you're looking at San Francisco, Brent, it's not like this is a championship window that is closing this season. Chase Young, really, Javon Kinlaw, the two of those guys, really the only significant contracts that are up at the end of the year. Everyone else is signed.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The bottom line is we thought, there were some that thought, and I thought this was a decent point, do good teams get crushed at home when the Jags lost 42-3? Well, the team that we just thought was the best team in the league, and we still think is probably the second or maybe third best team in the league in Philly, just got crushed at home by San Francisco.
It's because they lost their security guard, Brent. That guy doesn't get thrown out. It's a whole different ballgame.
They are on a mission right now. I mean, they really are. The question is, do you peak early? Like, does something happen? Do somebody figure them out? And I don't know if that's the answer or not.
It's a thing that happens. You can't play at your top level for, sustained for months and months and months and months.
I'll take one more crack at him if I could. But if the Jags could get this number one seed and we could have all these dreams and wishes around here of a Super Bowl, I would love to see somebody knock off San Francisco before getting to Vegas.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think everybody else, even the Eagles, I'll take my chances with the tush push. I don't know if I want to take my chances with McCaffrey and everybody else on that San Francisco offense. That was pretty good stuff. We've got good stuff here today as the Jaguars are playing the Bengals on Monday Night Football on ESPN. We've got you covered until 6 o'clock here at Everbank Stadium, and then 7 o'clock until 8 o'clock, countdown to kickoff on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Post-game shows. Oh, it's going to be a fun couple of days. It's a fun time to be in Jacksonville. The Jaguars are hot, and now they're chasing down that number 1 seed. We talk more about this football game. How dangerous are the Bengals? And oh yeah, we'll talk about that college football playoff thing too. It's all on the way. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
We start Monday cloudy with an isolated shower, but we will see clearing through the day, and we will also dry things out later through the day as well. Temperatures will be in the 70s this afternoon. It gets cold tonight, though. We're going to be down to the 40s early Tuesday, and then cool Tuesday, but with sunshine. Highs only make the 60s. Have a great Monday. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
It was about a year ago we were car shopping at Nimnicht Buick GMC once again. This was our 6th car purchase from the Nimnicht family of dealerships. Is it time to car shop for you? NimnichtBuickGMC.com or the showroom off Phillips Highway. That's the place to go. Special financing on new GMC Sierras, Acadias, and Terrains, or you can save thousands on a Buick SUV. Want a used vehicle? Nimnicht Buick GMC is the #1 car Bravo dealer in the Southeast. Visit off Phillips Highway or just go to NimnichtBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
The 12 Days of Christmas is back and better than ever at Best Bet Jacksonville. From December 12th to the 23rd, we're lighting up the tables with the much-anticipated 12 Days of Christmas High Hands and giving away over $275,000 in cash. The excitement grows each day, starting at $1,200 and climbing up to $2,300, and the chance to set sail on a World Poker Tour cruise. Don't miss out on the action. Explore all our December promotions at BestBetJax.com. That's BestBetJax.com, your destination for the best poker action this holiday season.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Shoulder pain can be caused by repetitive or overhead activities. Bursitis, tendonitis, and frozen shoulder are all examples of shoulder pain without a known injury. Alternating heat and cold therapies, massage, and stretching, and paying attention to your sleep style can help. One of the most important things you can do if you have shoulder pain is rest. You can also reduce inflammation in your body naturally through your diet. If your pain lasts longer than 2 weeks, or if you feel a pop or tearing sensation in your shoulder, the orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treating your pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or to learn more, go to JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's old school card collecting with new school breaks. Davoli's House of Cards does it all. Missing a card from an old 1987 baseball top set? They probably have it. Want to join in on a live TikTok break with the hottest new cards? You can do it with Davoli's House of Cards. Stop on by, talk some sports, find your favorite cards for your kids or for you, like when you were a kid. From Trevor Lawrence rookies to Pokemon and more, Davoli's House of Cards on 210. And join their live breaks on TikTok at Davoli's House of Breaks.
I'm Shanola Hampton. I support the Feeding America network of food banks because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Everbank Stadium. Brent Martineau along with Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts, as we get ready for a big night in Jacksonville. We're hanging out in the south end zone, those black painted end zones, catching everybody's attention over the last 20 minutes or so. And the Jaguars have a chance to catch everybody's attention around the country. This isn't the first time they've had this opportunity, but I still don't know if people are talking to them to the degree that maybe we think they should, or do they have to earn that a little bit more? And tonight's another opportunity to earn that. Guys, when we come out of tonight's game, Monday night, everybody talking about the pregame shows, tonight after the game, tomorrow morning on the big shows, Good Morning Football and ESPNs and everywhere else. I think most of them are contractually obligated to at least talk about it for a little bit. If the Jags are the number one seed by later tonight, or is there a big bandwagon around the country forming here in Duuuval?
Oh, totally. But not to the degree that I think we would all be satisfied with.
Yeah.
I think
we might never be satisfied.
I still think it'd be the early onset bandwagoneering, yes. But it will definitely start to commence in a very significant way that maybe we all thought would happen after the Chargers game last season, but I definitely think would start to happen here.
Kasey, is this the game the Jags get everybody's attention?
They got to win huge to do so. Because everyone's so down on Cincinnati.
When you say win huge, if it's 24-0, is that huge?
If they have 0 points at the end of the game, it doesn't matter if the Jags have 2.
All right.
If you shut out another team, that's big.
Similarly, though, if the Bengals end up scoring 21, but the Jags put like 55 up, it's also a welcome to Jacksonville party.
Yeah, it's got to be huge. I think that the game of games is the Baltimore game now. If Burrow was in this game, absolutely. But win massive, or just, first of all, just win. Then cover the spread, because a 10-point win in the league is pretty good. Or win huge, all those things, in that order. But Baltimore's that game, I think.
Yeah, and that could be. There'll be another opportunity for it, even if they don't come out of this game, I think, to your point. But you know what? I think they got people's attention a bit in Houston last week with that win, because everybody loves Houston. Like, they love the Stroud story, DeMeco Ryan story. Definitely been an underdog story, wowed people. But if you watch, like yesterday I had a chance to watch a lot of action. Yeah. And, of course, they beat the Broncos, who had won 5 in a row. Another nice win for the Texans. But people love to talk about the Texans right now. And that win over the Texans, I think, opened some eyes here around the country on the Jags. And especially the last couple of weeks with Trevor's numbers. Remember, he led the National Football League last week in passing. He had the most yards of any quarterback in the league. That gets people's attention. And so if he can do it again and they can do it again, I do think this one kind of shines a brighter light and then really ramps up the conversation going into next week in Cleveland, but especially, like Kasey's saying, that game against the Baltimore Ravens. How important is it for Trevor, really? Because isn't that the story? If Trevor can play well for a third consecutive week, if this offense can get cooking, of course, they're going to talk about the quarterback position. This is a chance for him to elevate a little bit, and we already think he's elevated. But around the National Football League, I don't think he's a top-of-mind quarterback. He's like, oh, yeah, don't forget Trevor Lawrence. I think after tonight with a good performance, nobody's going to forget him.
I got a slightly hot take on this here. Slightly hot. It's like 25 seconds in the microwave hot.
Okay.
I think Trevor Lawrence doesn't want to be regarded in that way by I think he likes being discounted by analysts and people from outside this market who aren't in the fan base. I think he feeds off of that in a way that maybe he hadn't gotten to experience in like 15 years.
Yeah, that's not a bad take. Like, I understand that. But here's the deal. You don't want to hang there too long, Aaron, because that means you're still not, like, getting it. You can't hang there if you're playing at a very high level.
If you're earning it, no one can deny it. But if I'm Trevor, I'm sitting there going, I don't think he's comfortable with people going, oh, he's the best. He's going to be the best. He's the prince of the NFL, or he's a top 3 quarterback. I don't think he enjoys that as much as he likes Trevor can't do it.
I do think he's embraced the adverse stuff, but I also don't think, Kasey, that he minds being the guy. Like, he's been the guy for his whole life. And I think being the guy, I've said this many times over the years, is a very comfortable place for him, whether that's in Jacksonville or that's on the Manning cast and everywhere else with or interviews around the country or on Radio Row at Super Bowl, and hopefully he's playing instead of on Radio Row. But you get the idea, right? I mean, he's comfortable in that setting, Kasey.
Yeah. He's comfortable, and it's, it works. But, after you've been the guy for so long, Brent, it's probably fun to play the character of the underappreciated. Because he's the guy in, 8th grade. So now he gets to the point where everyone thought he was going to be. He can play this little disrespect card. Isn't that kind of fun?
Or just different.
Yeah, it's a little different, but, he's been able to do that now for a couple of years. He's been able to make his
it does
tweets.
get old, yeah, for sure. There's no doubt.
I'm sure he doesn't want to play that card at contract time.
Well, actually, Aaron, that's a really good point. That's, keep adding a few more zeros onto that thing or whatever.
Well, it's like
right?
when I turn to my wife and I go, oh, it's for the show. Don't worry about it. It's just for the show.
One note, and then we'll get back to this question I have for you guys, maybe outside of Trevor, because Trevor's an obvious answer. The Josh Peterson got elevated. Obviously, Doug's son.
The Josh Peterson game.
Well, Brenton Strange, if you guys saw this over the weekend, he hurt himself in practice. It was a foot injury. They weren't sure. They knew they had extra time to heal. He was better on Saturday, according to Doug Peterson, when he talked. But this might be an indication that Brenton Strange isn't fully ready to go. They also have Luke Farrell on the injury report, so this also could be an indication that they're concerned about two guys banged up. What do they do at tight end? Makes a lot of sense that Peterson would be elevated. Now we'll find out if he's going to play a role or not in this football game later tonight. But something to watch is the Jags tight end position. And we're already watching it because Evan Ingram watching, getting in one of these end zones has been on for quite some time. Anyway, anytime touchdown, week number 11 in a row for Kasey Kuhrts. We're following that storyline.
You better believe
it. Which player on the Jags outside of Trevor Lawrence, and maybe Evan Ingram's in this conversation, can splash and have people talking about him the most after tonight?
I do think Evan Ingram is due for a big game. He's been relatively quiet for a guy who's catching 4 or 5 passes almost every game. The Bengals do not play well against opposing tight ends. If I'm looking at player props tonight, I'm looking at Easy E, and I think the number is 41.5 on the yards. I'll have to double-check that.
That's it?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's not big.
Well, this is odd because I also just saw this. Brent, I'll answer your question, but the over-under's 39.5, but the spread is 10.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's gone up. I said that last week, and I think I was talking to Ty. It was 38.5, Kasey.
So they don't think Cincinnati can score. They don't think they can score.
Yeah, Pittsburgh held them to 10. What did they score the week prior in Brownings?
Not a lot.
It might have been 16. I'll double-check it, though.
I thought they might have had like 20 in that game.
So you're saying the Jags can't score 30, and Cincinnati can't score 10?
Not that they can't, just that they haven't been and won't.
Yeah, that's insane to me. To answer go ahead.
I was just going to say the Bengals scored 10 last week and then 20 the week before, Brent. You were right.
Who were they playing the week prior?
Ravens.
Oh, and 20 against the Ravens with Browning.
The Ravens won 20-34.
Well,
that's not bad against the Ravens.
But didn't Burrow score the first touch? He was in on that drive that they scored.
Was he in? I could pull up the box score if you want to see.
He got hurt on the game. He got hurt on the play they scored. Well, he was already hurt.
And Kasey, you were asking, but Ingram, that number is 41.5.
That's wild.
Cincinnati currently ranking 30th in DVOA against tight ends. I mean, this smells like a big Evan Ingram game to me. And also, seeing Zay Jones kind of break out a little bit from the time he had off would be nice, too.
Can I pick a non-offensive player?
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think that's really the way to go here, maybe.
Andre Sisco, 2 picks.
Whoa. Okay.
2 picks.
Bro, they can't do it. They don't do the throwing well without Burrow. Like, it's going to be there for the taking. Someone just got to take it.
Well, I mean, I thought you were going to go Josh Allen when you said that, or I mean, like a Trayvon. I don't know if Trayvon's showing. I predicted a couple weeks ago I thought Trayvon would have a big game. I'm not sure I feel that way. I don't have that gut today.
I would go with Trayvon today. Why not?
But Josh feels like he is on a mission, man. Like people started to talk about him. The numbers are piling up again. That Houston game gave him some exposure because they were huge plays. So people started saying, hey, what about the other Josh Allen? Don't forget about that Josh Allen. Well, you get the spotlight on. You can see how good of a football player he is tonight with another dominant game against an offensive line that can be a bit leaky, as we know. So, I think there are so many different guys for the Jags that could use this moment, use this spotlight to really break out, make a name for themselves, get a lot of respect around the league. We talked a lot about this in the New Orleans game. Who was going to be that player that could break out? And, well, Etienne, Kirk, like those guys ended up doing a good job. I think Etienne got in the end zone. Kirk obviously had the big play to separate the 24-24 score. I think Trevor, because of the knee injury, had big moment coming off that game. Well, and then the world forgot after that more wins and San Francisco demolishing. Well, now the Jags are back for a second chance at that. And I think there are so many players. I think Aluakin, by the way, broke. I think Aluakin made the Pro Bowl against the New Orleans Saints with the pick six. Like, I think he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year because of that game and because he's a really good football player, but he got the attention. I think Josh Allen has a chance to get his name into Defensive Player of the Year candidacy or at least conversation. And I think he has a chance to get in the all-pro psyche as well with a monster game here, already a dozen sacks, and now trying to keep up with guys like T.J. Watt, but also Khalil Mack had a couple more, I think, on Sunday.
He did.
So, like, there's just so many players to pick from. I mean, heck, you know who else belongs in this bucket a little bit? Is Calvin Ridley.
Sure.
I mean, Ridley might be like this could be this coming out party for Calvin Ridley back to when the league was talking about him a couple of years ago.
And by the way, another guy who Vegas, or at least the bettors, are kind of underselling right now, his number 57.5. You're feeling froggy on Calvin.
Gosh, that seems
What do they think's going to happen in this game?
I think your Andre Cisco pick is interesting just because you got Browning, obviously a nameless, faceless backup for all intents and purposes. I think he's minus 170 to throw a pick, plus 270 to throw two of them. And Darius Williams, a decent shot at catching one of those, maybe Cisco also. But is Tyson playing tonight? Do we have an update on Tyson?
Well, I think the inactives will come out at 6:45. We're getting a pretty good vibe that he's going to play. But we'll see. I mean, you just never know. You don't know how he came out of the last couple of days. But I think there's a pretty good vibe that he will be back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And
plus 1,000
pretty healthy
for Tyson.
Plus 1,000?
Isn't that nice?
Boys, I'm about to win $1,000. I don't know what to tell you.
You can put there's a lot of ways to go. You know, and for your formula to work, Kasey, for any of those guys to get picks, which or takeaways in general for the Jags, they really just need to follow the formula that they've been following. And that's get out to early leads. They've been able to create double-digit leads, I believe, in every win this year. Really, after the first game against Indianapolis, and if you start with the Atlanta game, they've created double-digit leads, I think, in the first half of all their wins. And if they do that against Jake Browning, you're really going to put that guy in a tough spot. So the first 20 minutes of this football game become huge for the Jaguars to get the lead, but also huge, I think, for the Bengals to stay in it and maybe not get blown out, Aaron.
Yeah, how important do you think it is for the Jaguars to be stout against the run tonight?
Well, I think it's massive because they didn't even try to give it to Mixon last week. They have to try to give it to him, right? I mean, they have to try to give it to him to help this kid out a little bit, even though he does have Higgins back and he's got Jamar Chase. But, I mean, it's just inexperience. You don't know anything about him. They have got to get Mixon more involved. I mean, that was a crime last week that they only gave him
8 carries.
8 carries.
Yeah, nowhere to be found.
8 carries. That's nuts. In a 16-10 game?
And that was the total rush attempts outside of Jake Browning running for his life for 9 yards.
Yeah, 16-10 game, and you give it to Mixon 8 times? Now, listen, the Jags have been awesome against the run. So, I mean, I don't think Mixon's going to do a whole lot.
No, I don't even think they can try. Like, it's a bad recipe, which, again, I guess this makes sense for the spread. But if they can't run the ball, which they haven't for 2 weeks, or they actually really haven't done a ton of it this year, it feels like, because I have Mixon in fantasy, and I feel like I'm never seeing 20-point games, but that's besides the point. They can't do it. The Jags stop it really well. So now you're talking 2nd and 11, 3rd and 9, and then you're putting the quarterback in a bad spot. Like, it's just a bad matchup for them to even try to run the ball. It's wild.
It is. It's not a great formula for the Cincinnati Bengals when you're trying to do it against this defense, and it's just the opposite. Like I said, flow of the game wise, the Jags have a chance to dominate. They've been able to do that against the Bills, against Pittsburgh. They didn't dominate the scoreboard because they didn't cash in enough in those games. They turned it over inside like the 30-yard line on 2 occasions in each of those games. The Jags have a chance once again with their run game to dominate the flow. And if they cash in this time, we're looking at a blowout most likely in Jacksonville. We're live at Everbank Stadium. Got a big one tonight. Monday Night Football, ESPN kickoff 8:15. We've got you covered here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We have you covered on TV, be live at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. We have an hour show countdown to kickoff. So TV, radio, social media, Action Sports Shacks get you covered here on this special day in Jacksonville. First Monday Night Football game in 12 years. Why not? Get excited about it. Can't wait to see everybody inside the bank. It's a beautiful day so far. It should stay this way throughout the evening. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of a back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team. And it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
I'm Mark Anajar.
I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
As you set up that budget for 2024 to look at the home improvement list, ask yourself, how much is your old AC unit worth? Bold City Heating and Air is bringing back its annual buyback program. You get up to $1,200 for your old AC unit when you purchase a new Carrier unit with Bold City Heating and Air. BoldCityAC.com. Let Bold City keep your family at the right temperature and help make it a comfortable start to 2024. Bold City Heating and Air, the AC place I use, locally owned and operated. BoldCityAC.com.
Just like those little holiday snow globes, you better get ready to shake out the season because Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota. Right now at Arlington, get financing as low as 2.99% on 10 new Toyota models. And Arlington has more than 500 new Toyotas available. Plus, every new Toyota purchase comes with Arlington's lifetime warranty. Toyotathon is on at Arlington, so shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online 24/7 at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for details.
A psoriasis flare-up can make a walk in the park, well, no walk in the park.
It's that obvious, huh? I've tried so many lotions and creams, but I still have symptoms.
So those don't do enough to treat the inflammation beneath the skin, leaving you with those uncontrolled symptoms.
Makes sense, but what else can I do?
You can get real with your dermatologist so they can help you get clear. Make an appointment and, oh, you're already on it.
Hi, yes, I'd like to make an appointment.
Get real clear about psoriasis at letsgetrealclear.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Honey, come here, quick.
What is it?
Shh, check it out. The prices on all these highly rated tequilas are amazing. Total Wine must have made a mistake.
Nope, they always have the best deals in town. Remember that amazing reposado your sister brought over last week? See, it's right here.
Whoa, that's a low price. I mean, whoa, that's a low price.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Staying active and healthy as we age starts with strong bones. To keep your bones strong, you need calcium, vitamin D, and regular exercise. A bone density test called DEXA helps detect low bone mass and bone disease called osteoporosis. If you're 65 or older, Medicare provides free bone density tests every 2 years. Ask your doctor to schedule yours. For more information on how to be bone strong, visit pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
It seems like every day we hear about the challenges small businesses face to increase sales. Competition can be fierce, and growing revenue is essential for long-term success. What can a business owner do to set themselves apart and attract more customers? SCORE has volunteers with industry-tested sales and marketing experience that can help you address your critical questions in a free, confidential mentoring session. In addition, we also offer a vast array of online resources and workshops. Discover more about how SCORE can assist your business by visiting our website, jacksonville.score.org.
It's old school card collecting with new school breaks. Davoli's House of Cards does it all. Missing a card from an old 1987 baseball top set? They probably have it. Want to join in on a live TikTok break with the hottest new cards? You can do it with Davoli's House of Cards. Stop on by, talk some sports, find your favorite cards for your kids or for you, like when you were a kid. From Trevor Lawrence rookies to Pokemon and more, Davoli's House of Cards on 210. And join their live breaks on TikTok at Davoli's House of Breaks.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back. We're live at Everbank Stadium. Big night here, of course. Jags and Bengals Monday Night Football. First of two primetime games in less than 2 weeks. That's nuts. Hasn't happened forever. A Sunday night game since 2008, 2011 for the Monday night game. Of course, we've had the Thursday nighters. But you know what's interesting about this, guys? This feels like it does have more meaning than I thought it would. Like, for me, watching the league, watching games in, every day or every week for years now, Sunday night football does seem like that's become the real primetime game. Monday night for a long time I thought had just lost a lot of its luster because of the Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. Now Monday I think got a little more cachet because of Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I thought ESPN was really lacking a dominant play-by-play team. And to take Fox's play-by-play team, I think adds a little bit more. I think the Manning cast has helped beef up the interest even on Monday Night Football, and it makes it more of a spectacle. At least to me, this is. But I probably misread just how excited the players and the fans would be for the return of this. I figured they'd be exciting and excited about it. But I misread it a little bit. I think people are just jazzed up about this. Remember, there were primetime games here in the playoffs last year. And at the end of the regular season, it's not like we're new to this. All of a sudden, the Jags have been on primetime for the 5th time, I think this will be, in like less than a calendar year. So we're getting used to it around here.
It is a fun little energy that happens on these nights, though. I don't think it gets old.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. But what's different for me is, like, I have this mental clock during the season. On Sundays we – get to the state at 9:30, whatever it might be, and we're working most of the day, and you kind of have Saturday, it's coming and all this stuff. Well, this one was a weird one. Sunday, there was nothing, and then you're waiting around even on Monday. Like, we're not doing a pregame show at 11:30 in the morning. We're doing it at like 7 o'clock at night. It just has a weird pace to it this week, going all the way back to that Houston game.
Yeah, you feel like you have all the time in the world today, but apparently Kasey didn't feel that way. He couldn't make it in time to go with you.
I know. Sorry. He's a busy guy. He's told you many times he works harder than you.
I didn't say harder. I just said more.
More. That's
You're missing out on opportunities now, Case.
To sit next to Brent for 3 hours? I mean,
yeah. It's a hell of an opportunity.
I'm mad comfy, bro. I'm gridding right now. 0.4% Roberto Ozuna, former Blue Jays All-Star. Come on, boys.
Glad to see your eyes are still on the prize, man.
You know me?
How about your team? What's going on with Zach Wilson? There was a report by Diana Rossini.
Who I love, by the way. I think she is, out of this whole Aaron Rodgers saga, is it me or is Diana Rossini come out the winner?
I forgot that she was involved.
Well, and then she left. She left ESPN to go to The Athletic. She's still breaking all kinds of stories. She's having a crazy year.
I think she was the one. Wasn't she the one, Kasey, that said that Marone got fired, but he didn't?
Oh, wasn't that a local person at another station or no?
No. This was different.
Oh,
I think Rossini.
A different inaccuracy. Okay.
Yeah, I think Rossini did that.
I actually think you're right,
sure.
Brent.
What'd you say, Case?
Sure that
I think Brent's spot on.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
You never agree with Brent.
So that
she is having a big year. In any case,
but I know you're a big fan of her.
Yes.
Obviously, you're a big fan of her. I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I just was like, I think she was the one, but she does a good job. I mean, and obviously she's all
maybe
over
not
this
that
stuff.
time, but sure.
But this maybe not that time. This is weird.
It is weird, but do you blame Zach Wilson? I mean, Case, when I read this story, I was like, this smells like Kasey straight up and down. It's like, hey, young guy, we believe in you. Come help us. You would get all excited. And the second we gave you any critical feedback, you're like, you know what? Burn it down.
No, that's not how this. Well, I mean, I would do that. But
yes,
this isn't how this is at all. Say, you told me to go away. You told me that Tim freaking Boyle was a better option to win football games than
you just told
me?
Zach he needed a timeout. You say, hey, bud, you need a little timeout. we'll be back in a couple of games.
You think you can win with the savior, Trevor Siemian and Boyle? Then I'm not coming back. Forget it.
That Siemian experiment lasted a couple of quarters, didn't it?
If I was Zach Wilson, yeah, it did. I would 10 out of 10 do exactly what he's doing. No, I'm not coming back. Absolutely not.
Brent, let me explain to you the situation that's happening. The Tim Boyle thing is so disastrous that I actually ended up with Tim Boyle in fantasy card breaks. Kasey couldn't even use him.
He wasn't on the list.
He didn't exist in the system.
All right, this is how bad this was, though. So I'm looking up and down for Tim Boyle. Don't find him. And I look to Dave. I'm like, who's about equivalent to Tim Boyle? And we gave Aaron the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft, Bryce Young, who we think is about as bad as Tim Boyle, who, by the way, got less fantasy points than Tim Boyle.
Did.
So shout out to that guy who was picked number 1.
I mean, Saleh, what a year for Robert Saleh,
sure.
First of all. But Rossini reported it. He basically said if that was the way he was thinking, he wouldn't be here. That's what Saleh said in his news conference just a short time ago. And then Rossini doubled down on it. Said, yeah, he basically told Aaron Rodgers in a conversation they don't want to get hurt and reluctant to go back out there. And wild. I mean, there
is a difference between having Diana Rossini report that you're reluctant and telling your coach, I don't want to play. I think there's
there's probably some semantics there.
A large area of green in between those two statements.
Yeah.
But that being said, I thought it was interesting only because I thought Saleh and Joe Douglas were protected, including Hackett, because Aaron Rodgers is still on the team. And you can't saddle a new GM and coach with the Aaron Rodgers situation, and you can't get rid of those guys until that story plays out. But even Aaron Rodgers is now giving press conferences where he's like, hey, that's not my department. I don't make those decisions. I don't know if that's the whole story or not, or if he's just saying that to the cameras, but it seems like this is basically what it's going to be moving forward, and Zach Wilson will go on his merry way after the season.
I think what Kasey said is an interesting one. It's like, hey, you kicked me to the curb. You didn't want me out there. Then why am I going to go back out there? I do want out here. Maybe this helps me get out of here. Yeah. But the one problem for Wilson is, first of all, he has no equity built up. What? And I'm not sure I want to tell my next team this. Yeah. You know? Like, you got to go play. Go play. So nope. I think it's a weird situation, but what else is new?
It's actually a little bit fortuitous for Zach that they threw Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian in there, because now Zach has tape to compare to this season. Like, originally it was just Zach Wilson looking like he wasn't playing well.
Yeah,
but then you got other guys out there going, look at what the other guys were able to do, and I at least scored a touchdown or two this season.
That is wild.
There were a lot of people saying, hey, Zach could have made that throw. Zach, I think I saw Lige Duuuval was like, Zach gives you the best option.
It's crazy.
He is the best option.
It is crazy.
I wouldn't go back. If I was, I'm not, because no one's picking you up to start. Like, it's not happening, so what do you have to gain from it? I'm not going back in if I'm Zach Wilson. Forget it.
Look, Sam Darnold was able to pivot a horrendous beginning to his career with the Jets into his starting gig with the Panthers, and then another shot with the 49ers. So, like, I think Zach Wilson's looking at it going, you're saying there's a chance.
Sam Darnold, by the way, about to win a Super Bowl. I don't know if anyone's keeping track.
For his hometown team.
Shout
Get
out.
yourself a ring. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We're live at Everbank Stadium. I got to go do a little TV. Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter, take it to the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We will talk Florida State. Did they get hosed? Did the committee get it wrong? Is college football a fraud? Transfer portal is alive and well. What the heck is going on in college ball? We'll talk about it on ESPN 690.
Time to hoop it up and swoop it up with the Ospreys. Men's and women's basketball season is here. They are off and running. UNFOspreys.com for your season tickets. Plenty of options in the beautiful UNF Arena to watch a fun brand of hoops. In December alone, 7 home games between the men and the women. Season tickets, flex plans, premium seat, and suite options are available. Matthew Driscoll and the men off to a nice start. New women's coach Erica Lambert has her team playing tough. It's the busiest home slate in the D1 era. More than 30 games at UNF Arena. Go to UNFOspreys.com.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? 1-to-1 Financial. We're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Just be natural. Try to roll around in it gracefully and not like a puppy.
Maria's photography studio is zooming into a flurry of projects.
Where did I put that memory card?
She needs an assistant to keep business in focus.
Hang on while I change the external flash. Oh,
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus in President State where lawful to wager. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager only $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
My name is Jim Conroy, and I am the CEO at Boot Barn. Family and the holidays go hand in hand, and they impact our lives in incredible ways. As the hardest working people I have ever met, my parents' impact brought me to Boot Barn, where community comes first, and togetherness and heritage are celebrated. This holiday, as we reflect on the past and look forward to the future, we thank you for further impacting our lives and being a part of the Boot Barn family.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Eagles agreed to a one-year deal with veteran linebacker Shaq Leonard, getting some much-needed linebacker relief. The Cowboys were the other team in the running for Leonard. The NFL is reviewing yesterday's sideline incident between 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw and Eagles head of security Dom DeSandro. The incident resulted in Greenlaw's ejection. DeSandro also tossed. The 49ers have emerged from the pack as the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl, 3-1 per ESPN bet, shortest odds any team's had this season. San Francisco has cemented itself as the best team in the league after its performance in Philadelphia, according to SEC Network analyst and former NFL linebacker Takeo Spikes.
For them to come out, be able to push the gas on this Philadelphia team, shut down Jalen Hurts. I mean, they put everybody on notice in the NFC and also the AFC as well.
Takeo Spikes on Unsportsmanlike. Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett had surgery for a high ankle sprain today. Mitchell Trubisky starts in his place Thursday night against the Patriots. Coach Mike Tomlin says the injury will not end Pickett's season.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Tuesday, have the Dolphins proven to be the best team in the AFC? And if not them, then who? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Jacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! Ow! It really hit me.
Brent Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Happy Monday Night Football Day, everybody. Brent and Friends, ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter and Kasey Kuhrts live with you at the ESPN 690 studios.
Hi, what up?
TV's Brent Martineau live at Everbank Stadium right now doing a hit for television. If you're watching on the stream, you get to watch how that sausage is made, by the way. You get to see Brent looking all cute, smirking at the camera. What a cutie. Maybe he hears me right now. It looks like he's smirking right now.
He does not hear you.
You don't know.
I feel pretty good about it.
Could be listening to us whispering sweet nothings into his ear.
Now, he may have set up the speaker. And if he set up the speaker, this is a disaster scenario because he can hear us. TV can hear us.
Oh, that's great.
And if there's a way that he's doing this, hearing this, what a professional.
Well, then I've been wasting a lot of time not yelling inappropriate things. I think we should get started right away.
He didn't flench.
Okay,
if he can hear you.
Never mind. Guys, it's Monday Night Football Day in Duuuval.
Why do you keep doing that?
Because that's how you spell it. Duuuval. Don't you know anything?
No.
Not to be the media critic case on Monday Night Football night, but a certain writer for ESPN writing a story about where the Duuuval chant came from. I feel like I've seen this story 73,000 times.
And you got to bring it back into circulation.
So many times, Kasey. Enough with where it came from. Here's the reality. Some people take credit for it. No one can prove it.
That's Brent's friend, bro. You better be careful.
No one can prove. Not the writer.
Oh.
The guy who's claiming he invented it can't prove it.
Oh, my bad. I'm talking about the writer.
He's just saying he did it. And everyone's like, yeah, I think that's where it came from.
Sure, why not?
Who cares where it came from?
I agree with that.
It's just what we yell.
It's what we are.
It's what we do. We don't have to explain it to you, Nashville, or you, Los Angeles. None of your business.
Why was Los Angeles the next go-to?
I'm just saying, all these cities that aren't us.
Houston, bums.
Mind yours.
Indy,
yell
bums.
What you want to yell. In Houston, they yell Yahoo or something. I don't know.
Yahoo is crazy.
Well, it's like a rodeo state. They have a giant rodeo every year at the football stadium. It's crazy. Multiple days. Concerts, artists, everything. You want to go?
No, I hate Houston with a passion.
Oh, I think we did this, actually.
Yeah, the airport. It was a debacle of all debacles.
Monday Night Football Day case. Everyone is very excited, but also over the weekend, there was a travesty.
Not again.
Well, I'm just saying.
Not again with the travesty.
There was a travesty in the College Football Playoff Selection Committee results. What?
Nothing, man.
What's the problem? You sound very disappointed as we're joined once again by TV's Brent Martineau, fresh off a TV hit, which we all got to watch. Brent, we were just about to talk about the disappointment that was brought to all FSU fans by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee.
Oh, you were? What do you think?
Well, I think that before we do any of that, South Beach has been waiting very patiently for like 3.5 hours to make this phone call and have us guess at what he's saying. So, Case, can we go to South Beach for a sec?
Hey guys, two things. First of all, as we speak, the Miami Dolphins hold the number 1 seed
Yeah,
in the
for a
AFC.
minute.
And number 2, yes, Brent, it was both a host job and a travesty. First time ever that a Power 5 conference team went undefeated and didn't make the playoffs. Alabama lost by double digits at home to Texas. Just ridiculous. Michigan has their head coach suspended for cheating for 3 games, yet they go unpunished. I am boycotting the college football playoffs, guys.
Way to go, Gary. I think it'll make a big impact. I appreciate the effort, bro.
They won't get a dollar merchandise out of me, buddy.
That's right. I appreciate the call,
Thanks,
Gary.
By the way, was that the best South Beach Gary's phone ever sounded?
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
he was calm.
I also think he's been taking some of the feedback he's been getting.
That was awesome. I understood everything.
That was unbelievable.
Everyone's in playoff shape, guys.
What do you think college football is going to do without South Beach Gary?
Well, they're going to have to figure that
out. Are they
out.
going to recover? Like, what are they going to do?
This was the nightmare scenario we were all talking about last week.
Yeah, listen, we've been waiting for chaos for a long time in college football. Here's the thing. So many thoughts, right? I mean, there's so many things about college football that they evoke emotion because you either love a team or don't like a team. So you're rooting against Florida State or Georgia to get in if you're a Gator fan. You love your Gators, or maybe it's the SEC, ACC, whatever it is. Usually everyone has an emotional tie to it. The one good thing about me is, like, I'm not really locked into a football team. Now, I do have a little bit of an emotional against Alabama. Like, I think I just think they get way too much credit. But I also give them a ton of credit for what they just did.
So
they won
you're
the biggest
guilty
football
of the
game
thing
of the year.
you hate.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. You're the one giving the credit that you hate to see given.
It's like,
This
I
is
hate
weird,
when
right?
I give them too much credit.
I got to stop doing that.
Well, I got to give them credit for the one performance. It was a big-time performance at the right moment, and they beat Georgia, who I think is better than them.
Yeah.
And they beat them, and they made them look, average. And they earned a chance for the committee to give them a chance into the Final Four. I mean, if they lose that game, they have no chance, right? So, I mean, they took advantage of a moment and was able to do that. But beyond that, guys, I think Kasey feels like FSU got hosed here. Aaron, I don't know your thoughts on it.
100% FSU should have been in.
Oh, that's interesting. And I believe so, too, based on just the simple thing of all you have to do is take the top 5 Power 5 conference champs, which you can do in this instance. Sometimes it's muddy. It's not muddy here. You can take those 5. You can say, okay, which ones are undefeated? There's 3 of them. Michigan, Washington, Florida State. And then you get to 2 teams left, Alabama and Texas. And it actually worked out perfect for the committee. They played. Texas beat them. Like, that's it.
Yep.
Story's over. No controversy. Alabama can't complain. Well, they can for a bit. The SEC can't complain that much. They got Texas coming to the SEC. They're kind of in anyway.
Yep.
You can do this without the SEC. Screw that notion. Maybe people say you can't. Maybe there are politics. But I don't give a damn if the SEC is in the Final Four or not. Do you?
No.
I do not.
I just don't understand how FSU could be top 4 ranked basically for nearly the entire season. The preliminary CFP rankings come out. FSU is firmly entrenched in the top 4. They don't lose a game.
Not one.
And then you're going to go ahead and just move them out because you think the matchup might be better.
But there's more idiocy to this, okay? And one thing you'll learn as you get a little older, Aaron, maybe you learn, Kasey, you're about to learn.
What does that mean?
Like,
Oh,
people,
thank you, buddy.
like your job title and your age, it doesn't automatically make you smart and right.
I don't like where this is
like
going.
you can. It doesn't make you
I think it
immune
bears out
to
well for you.
stupidity.
You're right, Brent. I agree with you.
So let's think about how this has happened in college football really for a long time, right? 5 Power 5 conferences, by the way.
Yep.
And somehow they came up to say only 4 are going to make it if all go undefeated.
Well, you don't want the extra game, I think. You don't want to bother with
It doesn't matter. That's the system they came up with.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
They knew there was a scenario where you could get 5 undefeated Power 5 champs.
But how does this not
and
fall,
only 4 would even get in?
How does this not fall under the same scenario you've got with robot umps where the CFP just wants people talking about it?
Well, that's fine. Listen,
Good
I
question,
do
Aaron.
believe this. I believe this is a talker. I don't know if the CFP wants that. I don't know if anybody really wants that's going for that because there's not even a commissioner to try to, push that or anything like. There's nobody really leading college football for me to say, oh, yeah, they really want that. The College Football Committee doesn't really even show up until about right now. That's when they become relevant. But, I mean, the nature of this is everybody's talking about it. How often does college football get shine on a Sunday during the NFL?
Yeah, not often.
It did yesterday.
It did.
It still is today.
Yes, it is.
Everybody's talking about it. So controversy does breed conversation. People don't like that. But the bottom line is it does. And it actually elevates interest because everybody's got opinions and talking about it, and it evokes emotion as we're talking about. I mean, this has been going on for like 100 years now, guys. They used to determine the national champion by a vote.
Yeah, that's insane.
Then they decided computers were the best way to figure it out. Now they've said 4 teams is the best way to do it, and we're going to take a committee to put it in. Like, college football has been getting this wrong for like decades and decades upon decades and decades.
So when they expand the playoffs, is that going to make it better?
Yes, it will. It will become more normal. Like, you can see a path. One of my big problems with college football is you don't see a path. Did you guys see this coming last week with Florida State?
Yeah,
and I'm going to answer it for you. No.
Well, we were all kind of talking about it. Yeah.
Well, we were wondering, but you didn't see it coming because I'll tell you why. After Jordan Travis went out and they beat Florida in not exciting fashion in the swamp, they were the 4th-ranked team in the country by this very committee.
Well,
they said they were the 4th best team in the country.
I said that, but we're talking about the fact that nobody was talking about Florida State missing the college football playoffs until Jordan Travis got hurt, and then suddenly it was a story despite not losing. I think everybody had it in their head.
Well, everybody had it in their head, but
CFP would do it. Yeah.
The background was Georgia would probably beat Alabama anyway, right?
You're right, yes.
And then you're like, okay, would they have put Texas in over Florida State? And I think after what I heard yesterday, I believe they still would have put Texas in over Florida State.
You're probably right.
But my problem with it, guys, is that there's no path. See, when you have a 12-team playoff, now we'll know the 12 teams, and we'll have this 4 teams get a bye, and we'll start to play, and there's a bracket. Because we love brackets, and in sports, we can see how brackets work to get down to one winner. There's no evidence of that in college football. Why was Florida State ranked number 4 last week without Jordan Travis if this committee thought that they weren't any good without Jordan Travis?
Yeah, they were trying to take the easy way out and hope that Florida State lost to Louisville.
They were. That's what they were trying to do because they're gutless.
Yes.
They are gutless.
Tell them, Brent.
That's exactly what they were trying to do. And Florida State did what? They won again. And by the end of this thing, Florida State, who knows, maybe they get Tate Rodemaker ready, and maybe they beat Georgia. Who knows, it's going to be like an exhibition Orange Bowl, so it's not even the real deal thing anyway. But they might be the only undefeated team left, guys, in college football. Coming out of a Power 5 conference, winning the ACC, beating teams like LSU and Florida in the SEC. Having like this strength of record, whatever the hell that means, 3rd best in the country. And they have an excellent defense. I read today, Brahms' offense hasn't been held to that amount of yards in 5 years, what Florida State just did to them.
Well, make sure to keep them out. What a great double tall man to the College Football Playoff Committee it would be if FSU was the lone undefeated team in all of college football, at least in the programs that matter, here at the end if Michigan ends up taking a loss.
Guys, the bottom line is, I know you're doing pretty well on that Hard Rock Bet stuff right now, Aaron.
I wouldn't say pretty well.
But if we could predict what's going to go on in sports, we all wouldn't be talking about it. We'd be rich because we'd be betting on it and winning all the time.
Oh, you right about that?
Oregon was supposed to hammer.
Lost a lot of money.
Washington.
Lots.
A lot of people lost a lot of money.
Did you take a hard one on that case?
Me and you, Brett. That was us.
Oh.
Yeah. Georgia is supposed to beat Alabama. They were the best team in the country. And by the way, there's a ton of idiocy around this committee on Georgia going from 1 to 6.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Makes 0 sense.
It's crazy.
How is Georgia even ranked lower than Florida State?
I don't understand.
Like, I'm almost more mad on the committee putting Florida State at number 5 than I am about them leaving them out of the Final Four. You obviously think they can't beat anybody. So if you're going with the best and how good they rank against other teams, why are they at number 5?
Yeah, do you think they would have beaten Georgia or Ohio State or Oregon?
It's unbelievable. And by the way, it's these same kind of folks, the good old boy network of college football that's existed for decades, that have created the current landscape of college football today, which meant greed, all this money, big business when you don't want to admit it, and hide behind student athlete and amateurism. And now you pay coaches millions. The kids want a piece of the pie. Kids now are getting paid millions, and the transfer portal is buzzing today because of the college football world they have set up. Those same people, over decades of experience, determined this asinine college football playoff Final Four based on the merit of we don't even know what. I do think it's like a travesty. Listen, it's 2 different arguments. You earn your way there, or you think that they're the best team. But you don't have to worry about judging best team. You earn your way there. There are parameters to be able to create a scenario where you get the Final Four.
Right.
This wasn't a judgment thing. There were no – if Texas and Alabama were the final 2 teams somehow in all of this to be for that final spot, and they did not win their conference championship and they had 1 loss and they did not play each other, that would be where subjectivity needs to come in. They inserted themselves into a spot where it did not need to be inserted.
So if the
they
Super
just need
PAC
to follow the formula.
If our Super PAC, our Brent Super PAC, goes above and beyond, not only working on getting you to be a Hall of Fame voter, but we've now gotten you elected to the newly created position of College Football Playoffs Commissioner. What are you ruling on for those first 4 slots? And then I'll have a follow-up.
What do you want me to rule? You want me to rule on the first
4?
I want you to give me the 4 that you would put in.
The 4 is easy. It's Michigan, Big Ten champ undefeated. Washington, Big Ten champ undefeated. Florida State, I'm sorry, I said Washington, Big Ten, Pac-12 champ. ACC champ, undefeated. And Texas, Big 12 champ.
Can I stop you?
That beat Alabama.
Commissioner, can I stop you? And this is going to seem like I'm setting you up for something because it's an unfair question to ask
trying to
you.
be unfair here.
This is my biggest problem with the whole thing. What the hell did Texas do? They beat Alabama in September. Since then, they have barely beaten 3 and 4 win teams. I don't understand why everybody loves Texas so much because they haven't done anything.
I don't necessarily love them.
Beat Oklahoma State.
But I think
so. What?
I just think you have to do the same thing. You have to follow the parameters. If I'm going to do it this way, I can't be hypocritical. You're going to take your 5 champs because you have 5 champs that are worthy of consideration, and then you're going to go undefeated, and you're going to go down to 1 losses, and you've got the chance to go head-to-head. And I don't care if it happened 3 months ago. Do I think Alabama's way better? Absolutely. It's a hell of a coaching job by Nick Saban, really. They have gotten way better. But along those same, thoughts, and this goes back to Florida State, and I have no idea how good Tate Rodemaker is. But how much better is Milroe for Alabama than he was a month ago, Kasey?
Much
better.
Much better.
Like,
yeah.
way better. And so who's to say that Mike Norvell, who I think is a damn good coach, can't get Tate Rodemaker, who does have some experience, ready to play better football a month from now against one of these teams in the Final Four? I think it was another asinine assumption to assume that they just suck at quarterback outside of Jordan Travis.
I'll give you that. Yeah,
I mean, that kid wasn't ready the other day.
Well, how could you be? Your third,
right?
I mean, you had no business being in the game.
Didn't know he was going to play until game day.
So it's just, I've heard people say this, and it's kind of like, well, if you're going to give him that much respect, Jordan Travis, which he does, has earned it, right? They're a different team. But they're certainly not as good on paper without him. I get it. But, man, he should get a ton of Heisman votes then if this is the way everybody feels.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not up to the CFP to decide who's not capable. Like, let the team win or lose the game.
Yeah, it's not our job to avoid 1 versus 16 NCAA seeds. Like, that's not, like, we can't interfere with that because we think the game might not be as sexy. And like, that's a bad way to go.
You're also ensuring you won't have any Cinderella stories.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this is we're going to get to a place where we might have a little more Cinderella impact finally in college football because they're going to 12 teams.
Yep.
Right? And listen, people will say, well, you're always going to debate this. Who's the 4 versus 5? Well, you know what? They're all in. They all have a chance. It's one thing to be screwed, and it's another thing to not have a chance. And then the 12, 13, 14. Listen, if you're 12, 13, 14, that's on you. Right? Like, if you don't get in because you can't make it to the top 12, that's on you. Same goes for the 64, now 68 in the NCAA tournament. Same goes for the 16 that make it in the other playoffs in college football. I mean,
it also does get a little bit easier to debate once you're getting down to that 12, 13,
absolutely.
14.
Bro, if you're not in the top 68 of college basketball, you ain't got no business being there.
That's it. There are a lot of teams that – isn't that the beauty? That's what I never understood about college football. Isn't the beauty of college basketball that we get these teams that really, you would say on paper, have no business being there? But they snuck in by winning their conference tournament, and then they go upset a 2 seed or a 3 seed. Or in, well, one instance, a 1 seed.
Right. And they go on a run.
And it's what we absolutely love about March. And it's what college football and the old guard and the good old boys want nothing to do with. I mean, Florida State in this instance would have been Cinderella. I think they would have had half the world rooting for them. To beat Jim Harbaugh in Michigan.
Totally.
The cheaters.
To beat Texas, mighty Texas.
Wolverines, case not.
Still don't understand what Texas is doing in there.
I think people are talking about Washington like that. Now they become kind of the Cinderella.
Shout out Washington.
But, man, I mean, I just can't get off going back to last week and seeing Alabama was number 8, deservedly so. They needed a miracle to beat a bad Auburn team. And they really hadn't beat anybody up until that point. They were probably in a proper spot. But why the hell was Florida State number 4 going into their ACC championship game when you watch them play against the Gators if you had no thought of putting them in. Because to be honest with you, I don't really see a big difference between Alabama against the Alabama team I saw play Auburn and the Florida State team I saw play the last couple of weeks. I'll take Florida State in that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Alabama team that beat Georgia, that's a little different. But who the hell knows which one's showing up in this college football final playoff?
Yeah.
How do we know?
We do not.
We just assume because Alabama's always good, Nick Saban's really good.
Sure.
So we're going to assume it. But we have no idea.
None.
Unbelievable.
What
and
a
I'm not
mess.
even a Florida State fan. Like, I can only imagine. I mean,
Dog, you were fired up like 10
if this
minutes
happened
ago.
to Florida,
You were like
know what?
screaming.
I thought about all this stuff, right? Like, I've watched it all unfold. And by the way, I said what I said here today about how it should have played out before the committee made their decision. To me, logic wins. Earning it wins more than this deserve thing I keep seeing everywhere. Like, no, we don't know who deserves it. It's way too subjective for that. We have no idea. I mean, heck, Vegas thinks the Jags are going to win by 10 today.
It's wild.
That ain't a lock.
You sure?
Even without Joe Burrow. It's sports, man.
It's true.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
And but you know what? Here's the one other thing. I'm
Okay.
just going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead,
It's
man.
never
It is
going
your
to
show,
get.
buddy.
There's nothing that will rectify this for Florida State.
No, not this year.
No, they just have to go away.
They can beat Georgia, and it doesn't matter.
Does not. Agreed.
Doesn't
They
matter.
can lose to
what
Georgia,
degree.
and everybody's like, "We told you so."
Yeah, that's where I do think it matters, actually.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't because their guys are not going to play and they shouldn't. First of all, Florida State shouldn't play at all. But it's not going to be a
true
normal,
matchup.
Yeah, because I can't imagine that Keon Coleman's going to play.
Jared Verse, yeah.
Jared Verse, Johnny Wilson. I mean, if Tate Rodemaker, I understand that it sounded like he was pretty close to playing, but if that's not 100%, then why would you play him?
Here's if you're Mike Norvell, though, you're using the chip on the shoulder. You're talking about how disrespected you guys were. All these guys who decided to come back for one more year to give it a run, you're leaning on them going, this is why you came back. It's not the natty, but it's time to shove it in everybody's faces what kind of mistake they made.
But it doesn't
matter.
What does it get you?
A trophy
what
full
does
of
it
oranges.
get you?
No, bragging rights.
Are you going to do the UCF national champ thing?
Oh, I mean, you might.
Please
Any school would who felt that they earned it and got snubbed. Why not?
They can't. Like,
That'll
they
be a
won't
tough
do that,
sell.
right? You've got to swallow this, and there's just no way around it. There's no way around it. If you're Mike Norvell, you can't do anything about it. Listen, I do applaud Norvell, Alford at Florida State. They hammered him, man. They didn't hold back. But that's all you got. Like, get it out. Be pissed about it. But you know what he has to do? Like, he almost has to get his team just to say, hey, forget about it, move on. And that's the committee just wins here. I think the only thing that makes the committee look even worse is if Alabama gets smoked.
It doesn't matter.
It matters.
But they're not going to get smoked because
they don't. They're Alabama.
They don't get smoked.
Right.
I mean, they really don't. To their credit, they don't get smoked. But I also don't think they're going. Like, I think Michigan's better. Like, I think Michigan's a lot better. I also think Georgia is a lot better than Alabama, but played a bad game.
Also true.
I shouldn't say a lot. That's not fair because they lost to them. But I think if they played 5 times, I think Georgia wins 4. And they lost on this one. But guess why? Because it's sports.
Yeah.
It happens.
You bet it does.
We're going to go to break.
Okay.
Back to the Jags and the NFL.
Gotcha.
Tired of talking about the old guard in college football.
Yeah, man.
And the FSU travesty.
Travesty.
Oh, it's hilarious, isn't it?
Kasey, it's not funny. Don't do that.
Oh, my. He said it to me 8 times since I've been here, that it's a
You
travesty.
said the word travesty? Is that why you guys did that when I said it?
Yep.
It's just making stuff up.
Because not only did you say it, South Beach Gary said it.
But you know what?
And Aaron told me 4 times since I've been here, it's Florida State, it's a travesty, huh?
It's a great word,
like,
first of all.
It is a great word. I don't know what Casey's problem is.
Secondly, the beauty of this is I actually heard South Beach Gary say it.
Yeah. Look, Gary's in playoff shape.
All right, let's get
I
back
don't
to
know what they're going to do without him. College football
Let's get back
playoff.
to the good stuff. We're talking Jags and Bengals Monday Night Football on ESPN tonight, and we're talking about it on ESPN 690. What happens today? Hey, are you fired up? You can always give us a call, 904-362-9901, or shoot the text line a text.
Whoa.
That's the same number.
Holy smokes.
904-362-9901. I didn't even come close to swearing.
Oh, it felt real close. I started moving that direction.
Felt like a banana peel on the floor right there.
Yeesh.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cloudy to start Monday with temperatures easing into the 70s by this afternoon. We may have a isolated shower this morning. The rain will clear out by midday, whatever rain is around, and the clouds will clear a little into this afternoon and evening. And then tonight will be cold with temperatures plunging down into the 40s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. Main office, Jacksonville.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Time to hoop it up and swoop it up with the Ospreys. Men's and women's basketball season is here. They are off and running. UNFOspreys.com for your season tickets. Plenty of options in the beautiful UNF Arena to watch a fun brand of hoops. In December alone, 7 home games between the men and the women. Season tickets, flex plans, premium seat, and suite options are available. Matthew Driscoll and the men off to a nice start. New women's coach Erica Lambert has her team playing tough. It's the busiest home slate in the D1 era. More than 30 games at UNF Arena. Go to UNFOspreys.com.
Celebrate December with Best Bet. We're giving away an incredible $275,000 in cash. Kickstart your holiday fun at Jacksonville and Orange Park with amazing promotions like $500 High-Hand Fridays, 12 Days of Christmas, and the $40,000 Guarantee GoPo 400 Tournament. We have you covered with fun, fast card games like 1-card and 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and more. New to the game? No worries. Our friendly dealers are ready to teach you the ropes. For all the details, head over to bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Staying active and healthy as we age starts with strong bones. To keep your bones strong, you need calcium, vitamin D, and regular exercise. A bone density test called DEXA helps detect low bone mass and bone disease called osteoporosis. If you're 65 or older, Medicare provides free bone density tests every 2 years. Ask your doctor to schedule yours. For more information on how to be bone strong, visit pathtogoodbonehealth.org.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Kinetico softener and drinking water system. Kinetico's twin tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it, have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Kinetico K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Kinetico Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Kinetico dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit NHTSA.gov.
TSA.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It was about a year ago we were car shopping at Nimnicht Buick GMC once again. This was our 6th car purchase from the Nimnicht family of dealerships. Is it time to car shop for you? NimnichtBuickGMC.com or the showroom off Phillips Highway. That's the place to go. Special financing on new GMC Sierras, Acadias, and Terrains. Or you can save thousands on a Buick SUV. Want a used vehicle? Nimnicht Buick GMC is the #1 Car Bravo dealer in the Southeast. Visit off Phillips Highway or just go to NimnichtBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
All right, let's continue one more time with this Florida State conversation because I think Steven's been hanging on the line. He probably wants to get in some Jags conversation, too. So let's welcome Steven in on a Monday. Hope you had a good weekend, man, but wild weekend it was.
Oh, yeah. Just like you, I was extremely pissed. But, I mean, you pretty much touched on it all. You know, if I got on sooner, I would have just said, preach it, Brent, preach it. I mean, ultimately, if you have no intention of putting the team in the top 4 for the playoffs, you should have never left them at 4 on Tuesday. Your whole thing was hoping that Louisville would beat them, and that backfired on you. But anyways, I'm heading to the Jags game now, and I can't wait to get in that game. And the question earlier about guy with the impact, Josh Allen, I feel, is going to have a damn good game, a coming-out party. I'm going to book 3 sacks on him today. And just front 7 in general, I feel. They just got to dominate the Bengals up front. Bengals haven't ran the ball very good. You got a backup quarterback. And hopefully the offense jumps out and the defense could just go to town on them.
Thanks, Steven. Enjoy the game, man. It should be fun. It's a good way to get over that FSU stuff in a hurry, by the way, is watching Jags play on Monday Night Football. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Guys, I just tweeted something out about the odds in this game, the betting dollars, and where they're going.
Okay.
And my kid shared it with me, so I don't know what that says.
It's probably
Shout out Ty.
A little worrisome for you, but that's all right.
Smart kid.
Well, not only that, did Ty share it with me? He said, this is the single most I've ever seen on one side for an NFL spread.
And now you're wondering how much he's looking, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess we're looking. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes me nervous, too.
Oh, what are you doing here? But anyway, this Gavin McHugh tweets out, and it's like a bar graph.
Okay.
And it's all teal. Like total handle, $2.1 million, 85,000 bets. And the money percentage on the Jags is 98%.
All right, that's terrifying.
The bet percentage, I'm assuming on the spread? Nah, because the spread. Okay, this is all money line. My bad. So money line is 98% and 96%. The spread number, even at whatever it is now,
9.5, 10.5.
Is 88%.
That's not good.
88%.
I'm betting on Cincy right now. That's not good.
Really? Just a betting trend would make you worried about it, ignoring all the facts?
It's not a trend. It's the whole planet. 86% of humans that bet think the Bengals can't possibly come within 10. By the way, I'm one of those humans, but if y'all think it, I drive next to a lot of y'all every day. A lot of y'all are real stupid, not smart, okay? So if y'all think this.
That's very, hey, we're in Radio 101, Aaron. Is it to call everybody stupid that's listening?
Oh, that's a day one lesson, Brett.
Some of y'all. All right? If y'all be driving the same time I am, going like 40 and a 70, all right, you're not built for it. Don't drive. But if y'all are all thinking that one thing's going to happen, I feel like I got to get on the other side of it. Sorry, Brent, go ahead. Didn't mean to
Aaron,
do that.
Why so much money on this side? Like, that's nuts.
That's scary, isn't it? Everyone thinks they've got a hot tip right now, and they're all betting the same direction. That's why I go with 5-leg parlay player props, guys. Ain't nobody making the same bet as me.
You like to be a trend setter.
By the way, it is now 10.5, not just 10.
10.5. 10.5. That is, I don't get it. Like, I said it earlier today. I was starting to say this last week when it was 8.5, and then it crept to 9 and 9.5. In fact, we started to do our countdown to kickoff show, and I put some notes in. And when I did that, I think it would have been like Tuesday or Wednesday, guys. It was at 8. And when I went over the show today with Olivia, I was like, hey, we got to change this. It's up to 10. And I said, don't forget to check before we go on.
Text
now
her
it's up
10.5.
to maybe 10.5. That's a huge move on the line, Kasey. Like, I don't follow the lines all the time, but that's a massive move in a week, isn't it?
Yeah, that's insane. It's unbelievable. By the way, Brent, right now, I think you're in the background of Stanford Steve shot on ESPN. Wave. You see him anywhere?
Casey's trying to do an experiment.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah, there we go.
Brett,
The back.
you're on.
It is a little wild to me, guys, that the line, the spread in the game is so wide, but some of these over-unders on the player props are so low, like the Evan Ingram over-under 41.5 receiving yards. The Calvin Ridley is at 57.5 receiving yards. Another interesting one is Joe Mixon rushing and receiving combo. A lot of people hitting the under 69.5 yards just because the Jaguars are so stout up front when it comes to the run defense. So those numbers, I would think, more in line with what to expect in that everybody in the world hitting the 10.5 point spread. That is, woof.
Yeah, that's it's pretty wild. And so, okay, let's figure out why. Burrow's out. But there's more than that, guys.
Sure.
Why are they so confident in the Jags right now? Like, why are people – and we asked this. Like, this is what people want. They want you to be confident in the Jags. They want to say, if this was Kansas City, we wouldn't blink an eye at this, right? Home game against the Burrowless Bengals. Oh, maybe the Bengals are bad that's been a bad matchup for Kansas City, so maybe it's a bad example. But you get my point, right? Oh, yeah, they'll cover 10. No problem. I can put money on 9.5, whatever it is.
Here's why.
Why are people so on the Jags right now? It can't be just because they've won 2 games in a row. It can't be just because Trevor threw for 364.
Well, they haven't
week.
just won 2 games in a row. Since getting blown out by the 49ers, they've been one of the better offenses in the league. But Cincinnati ranks 31st in total yards per game allowed through Week 12. And last week, the Bengals allowed 421 yards to a Steelers offense that had previously not gone over 333, and we saw what they did over this past weekend. It was the 6th time this season the Bengals defense surrendered over 400 yards in a game. So I would say that bodes pretty well for the Jaguars as well.
Kasey, where do you think the Jags have the biggest advantage in this football game?
I would just say
quarterback.
Quarterback. I would say their defense against the Bengals offense. I really don't think they can move the ball because you can't sit there and say you're going to run the football on the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're just not. And when you don't have your quarterback, I think when those 2 units are on the field, the Jags are unquestioned 10 times better than the unit they have on the field at the time.
So I was kind of hoping you did that, too, because what I think what you're saying there, well, what's cool about what you're saying is this defense that in the offseason nobody really knew anything about. Not many people even around here had much hope that they would be, like, excellent. They could be good, pretty good, but not like, hey, we believe in you in December to just stop everybody. And that's what they've built. Like, they've put together a resume where they've played 2 stinker games, San Francisco, which you almost pass on, and Houston, which really was a special teams disaster, offensive disaster, and defense disaster. And outside of that, they've played really good football. And so much so that what you're saying about the defense, whether it was Burrow or not, you feel pretty good about what they might design, scheme, and execute on the defensive side of the football, and now you feel much stronger about it because obviously Browning's the quarterback and Burrow is out, right?
That is exactly how I crafted in my head, exactly what I was thinking.
But that's a big difference. Like, that is not what we expected, is my point, when everything started this year. What we did expect is December 4th against the Bengals to be a big game with the Jaguars likely in first place and playing to be one of the elite teams in the AFC. But we did not factor that part in, that the Jags defense might be a real strength of this football team. And it is. Yeah. When you can make people one-dimensional, which the Jaguars have proven to do. Aaron, I think the only guy that's rushed for 100 yards against this defense is Bijan Robinson in London. Like, that's what they're doing.
That's impressive.
Yeah, they're shutting everybody down when it comes to the ground game for sure.
That's impressive.
And then obviously the turnovers on top of it. But I think last week they even built a little bit of confidence in other people because they won the football game without getting turnovers. Like, it seems like, okay, they need turnovers. They got to get the ball to bounce their way. Well, not last week. I think the number was they broke a streak of 20 consecutive losses when they don't force a turnover.
And that's all well and good, but I think the expectation is the Bengals will be turning the ball over tonight.
Well, part of that expectation as well is that the offense is starting to cook a little bit. The offense is getting vertical. And Trevor's taken off. And you've got the full complement of everybody. And part of getting turnovers, Aaron, I would say, is the ability to get out in front, take the lead.
Sure. Force the other team to throw the ball and to be urgent and not think through or have to hurry when maybe otherwise they'd be taking their time with the ground game or a little balanced attack. Sure.
If we think about what we expected out of this football team and where it's at, I remember at the start of this year I said, dictate play. Dictate play. Well, when they were 1-2, they weren't doing that. They didn't even do it in the win against Indianapolis in the opener, you remember. Since then, they've dictated a lot of play, right? I mean, they've won 7 out of 8 games, and like you mentioned, they get out in front. They set the defense up in a good spot. When they need to make plays, they make plays. They control the ball pretty well. And their offense hasn't hit a ceiling, and nobody's saying it has. But they've been able to dictate play on really both sides of the football and control these games. And I guess that's what Vegas is betting on again today. It's an astonishing number.
I think it's also why a lot of people are expecting a big run game from the Jaguars. I mean, if the Jags get up by a score and a half, a touchdown and a field goal or 2 touchdowns in the first half, I think the expectation should be 50 rushes by the Jags running back room this game.
And
there's no reason to toss the ball all around the field at that point.
By the way, if you were wondering, Dearness Johnson, the rushing yards numbers, it was 19.5. I just put my mortgage on it. It's now 21.5.
People, what was it?
19.5.
And now it's 21.
And Kasey will be dehoused as of tomorrow.
So I really need Dearness Johnson to run the football a little bit. Not going to lie to you.
By the way, I might have got Mahomes on a one run late in the game for Mahomes. And that might have happened.
You got a house?
Not a new house.
Oh, you got enemy lines behind you going on right now.
Yeah, guys. Just always wants camera time.
Yeah, he does.
He's a big fan of the show.
Hungry for the attention.
Absolutely. Hey, when we come back, we got the
it's going to be a little fight at the stadium.
Voicemail of voicemails today.
Oh, man.
At the station.
Listen, don't say anything more, Brent. I need this to be – I made a little game show out of it. We'll put Kasey up at the podium, and Kasey will play a round of What's the Feedback?
All right, can't wait for it. Brent and Friends live from Everbank Stadium. Jags and Bengals tonight on ESPN at 8:15. Don't forget, we've got our 7 o'clock countdown to kickoff on CBS 47 and Fox 30 as well. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of a back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team. And it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Men, are you suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? The medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. 98% of men see instant results on their first office visit. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Men are even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
But that's not all. For a limited time only, call Prime Men's Medical Center now, and your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8221. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry, this free examination, normally $199, is yours for free and good only through Sunday. For your free examination, call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Call now.
It seems like every day we hear about the challenges small businesses face to increase sales. Competition can be fierce, and growing revenue is essential for long-term success. What can a business owner do to set themselves apart and attract more customers? SCORE has volunteers with industry-tested sales and marketing experience that can help you address your critical questions in a free, confidential mentoring session. In addition, we also offer a vast array of online resources and workshops. Discover more about how SCORE can assist your business by visiting our website, jacksonville.score.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly. You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Stay with ESPN 690 for your chance to see and hear our special events in the Farah and Farah Performance Studio throughout 2023. Powered by Farah and Farah and ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to Monday Night Football Day on ESPN 690. Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts, and TV's Brent Martineau live from Everbank Stadium. It's Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Fellas, very cool segment right here. I want to give it a little bit of context for the listeners so everyone knows what's up. Here's the deal. Earlier today, TV's Brent Martineau received a tip from the newsroom downstairs at the TV station that a colleague, a member of the news team, has received some feedback from a viewer. And this was, I would say I enjoyed listening to this feedback a lot. And so it inspired a game, Brent, that I would like to play called Case What's the Feedback? All right. So here we go, Kasey. I will tell you the person who is receiving this feedback is TV's Garrett Biedenbaugh.
Oh.
Meteorologist downstairs. He tells us which way the wind blows.
Oh, good.
And he received a piece of feedback. Now, I'm going to ask you to play the first part of the clip.
Okay.
And you will have to use the context clues from the first part of the clip to tell me what the feedback was. Let's go ahead and listen to the first part of the feedback.
Yes, this message for anyone. I just wanted to say this about the news guy that do the weather on CBS Action News 47 at 12. I want to say something about him. He is the most...
Okay.
Oh, no.
He is the most. So here's what we know. We know it's about Garrett Biedenbaugh. We know this feedback, according to this nice lady who left it, can go to anybody. Brent, if you got a piece of feedback and she's like, I don't care who you give it to anybody, chances are it's going to be some wild feedback, is it not?
Yes, we didn't know which way it was going to go.
So, Kasey.
You get some wild stuff at the TV station now.
So, Kasey, Garrett Biedenbaugh, the feedback can go to anybody. This man is just what?
Just always wrong.
Always wrong for Garrett Biedenbaugh. Okay. Always wrong is what Kasey says. Let's hear the feedback. Kasey, go ahead and bring down the bed. I would love to hear clip number 2. What is the feedback for Garrett Biedenbaugh?
I just wanted to say this about the news guy that do the weather on CBS Action News 47 at 12. I want to say something about him. He is the most... I've never, even when I was going to school back in the 60s and the 70s, I never seen a white boy that looked that good in all the days. I've been wanting to say this for a long time. That is the most beautiful white man I've ever seen in my whole entire life. His looks, his hair, his tie, his suit. The whole thing. I mean, his speech, how he does it, how he does the weather. I mean, he is just superior. I got to give it to you. Action News, he's a bomb, okay? Just tell me that this woman over in Atlanta Beach think that he's the best thing ever God creation is for that. When I was going to high school, they didn't have no good looking men like that. Not like him, okay? And I went to school with black and white. He's beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Keep and speak good English. Thank you for having good-looking men that work for Action News.
Oh, yeah. Case, bring it down a little bit.
Do I get included in that last part?
No, you did
for
not.
Having good-looking men working for Action News?
You did not. She's talking about the Fabio of Fahrenheit, Garrett Biedenbaugh.
That's wild.
When I heard that, I wasn't sure if I was jealous of Garrett Biedenbaugh or concerned for him.
Can't be jealous of Garrett. You can only appreciate the beauty, Brent.
He's beautiful.
Unbelievable.
And by the way, Kasey?
Yes, sir.
Always right.
Hey, man, I didn't know where this was going.
Yeah, that was really rude, Case.
I don't ever remember in my time listening to those voicemails for a year and a half at Action News Jags, any single one of them being positive.
Well, you're talking about the romantic of the raindrops. Come on.
They're usually aimed at me.
Right. I've heard a lot of bad voicemails down there, so I wasn't really expecting this one to be good.
What, the hedonist of the heat index? You don't think he's getting compliments? Come on.
That is wild.
Beautiful Garrett Biedenbaugh.
I mean, we had a bunch of home runs this weekend, and it should not go overlooked that we did not interrupt the Alabama-Georgia SEC championship game.
Damn close, though.
Well,
is this for the tornado warnings?
It was a tornado warning, Aaron, tell everybody about it. Tornado warning.
I mean,
That's serious.
Not only can I tell you what you're supposed to do, I can tell you that I was at Topgolf when it went off. And we didn't go inside.
All right.
We kept going.
This is not helping your case, Brent, but please continue.
But we did have it on Fox 30.
All right. Good job, Brent. Who was doing the weather? Was it that ugly guy Mike Burrish, or was it beautiful Garrett Biedenbaugh?
Corey Sima, somewhere in between.
Oh, poor Corey.
By the way, one note about that, too, is apparently we even had calls for interrupting the UNLV Boise State game.
Come on, for real?
See, this is what I'm talking about. There's never been a positive voicemail ever.
Stop it.
That was amazing. I mean, that was pretty good, though. I had to tell a couple people, you're kind of lucky we're watching this Bama game right now. It's not getting interrupted.
Appreciate what you've got, because we almost snoozed all over you.
Well, I did. I had somebody email. They were like, can you take the thing off the bottom line? I'm like, dude, you're lucky you're watching this thing right now.
What is he talking about? Can you please remove the graphic? I'm trying to watch football.
We're trying to save lives here, okay?
Yeah, it's important work.
I can't believe she called the station to say he was a beautiful dude.
Not just a beautiful dude, the most beautiful dude.
That's crazy.
That was terrific.
In love.
So good.
That's
unbelievable. Great game. We're going to have to play that more often. I like that, Aaron.
What's the feedback? I'll bring it back.
It's kind of up to you, Brent, ain't it?
Football at 5 on ESPN 690.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
This is Ortho Health Insights, tips for life in motion, brought to you by the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. You are never too old or too young to begin improving your orthopedic health. Hundreds of thousands of knee replacements and hip replacements are performed each year in the United States, and those numbers are on the rise. But some of these surgeries are preventable. Exercise and health lifestyles have a direct effect on muscle strength, joint flexibility, and bone density. Maintaining a healthy body weight can lessen the effects of osteoarthritis and prevent injuries. Hip pain is a common problem and can cause discomfort and difficulty in walking, sitting, and daily life, like working and playing sports. If you are experiencing hip pain, the hip orthopedic physicians at JOI are experienced in diagnosing the cause and treatment of your hip pain. Whether you need a course of physical therapy or surgery, JOI can help. Call 904-JOI-2000. That's 904-JOI-2000. Or learn more at JOI.net. JOI is the official sports medicine provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Every year in Florida, 200 children and teens die due to firearm-related injuries. Know the basics of firearm safety and talk to your children about the risks. Learn more at go.baptistjacks.com/gun safety.
For seniors, staying healthy can be complicated, but one of the easiest routes to good health is prevention. No matter what our community's current COVID-19 infection rates are, getting your booster shot now is a smart way to protect yourself from severe illness later. ElderSource encourages people 65 and up to get a safe, free COVID-19 booster. For more information, visit myeldersource.org or call the ElderSource helpline at 888-242-4464.
American Legion Post 197 has been established as a Mayo Clinic community health hub. This year, they're aiming to raise $50,000 to help educate Black men about prostate cancer. Approximately 1 in 4 Black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer compared to 1 in 8 white men, and they're 2.2 times more likely to die from it. As a community health hub, Post 197 is trying to provide much-needed information to this community, but that takes funding. Call 904-705-2469 for information and to donate.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Eagles got the linebacker relief they'd been looking for, signing former Colts All-Pro Shaq Leonard to a 1-year deal. He's opting for Philly over Dallas. The NFL's reviewing yesterday's sideline incident between 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw and Eagles head of security Dom DeSandro. The incident resulted in Greenlaw's ejection. DeSandro also tossed. After making a statement in their road route of the Eagles, the 49ers, the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl, 3-1 at ESPN Bet. Shortest Super Bowl odds for any team this season. Yesterday made it quite clear it is San Francisco. Then everybody else believes ESPN NFL analyst Rex Ryan.
They're 49, plus 49 against their opponent. Nobody in the league is close to that. Nobody's close. So they play phenomenal on offense, and they're phenomenal on defense. This is a team that has no weaknesses. And so to me, it's not close.
Rex Ryan on Get Up. Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett had surgery for a high ankle sprain. Mitchell Trubisky will get the start in his place Thursday night versus the Patriots. The injury is not season-ending, according to Coach Mike Tomlin.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman. Coming up Tuesday, have the Dolphins proven to be the best team in the AFC? And if not them, then who? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends.
Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
We're getting a little punchy around here, people. It's been a lot in a row.
I would love to punch you guys.
Ow! It really hit me. Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, and Kasey Kuhrts. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Welcome back to Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. It's Monday Night Football night. Kasey Kuhrts, Aaron Schachter, Brent Martineau live at Everbank Stadium. About to step in front of a TV camera. He'll rejoin us as soon as it's done with his TV responsibilities. Or responsives, as my daughter calls it. Kasey spotted Brent on national TV earlier.
Look at me.
Eagle Eye Kasey. Out there doing your grid. Very proud of the work you're doing
Ladies
there.
and gentlemen, did you know there are 20, count them, yes, 20 200 game winners that played for the Cincinnati Reds at some point in time? The boys, the friends of the show, Aaron and Kasey, spent nothing short of 2 hours trying to come up with one of those 20 names. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that after 2 hours of deliberation, whatever that word is, deliberation is what I meant to say.
Wait. Are you sure?
No.
It felt like you meant to say deliberation.
Nope, didn't mean to at all.
Okay.
Didn't mean to say that, just not really good at talking.
Okay.
We came up with Tom Seaver.
Oh, look, you did it.
Yep. After 2 hours, something that should have been fairly obvious. By the way, 77% of the world agreeing. So,
look,
shout out to us.
You pulled out a grid win in the clutch, and the hopes, if you don't mind me segueing here, Case, is that the Jags don't have to pull out a win in the clutch tonight, that they get one sealed up in the first quarter. A lot of people expecting the Jaguars come out hot and heavy with big offensive weapons against the Bengals team that is not only reeling on defense, but reeling on offense as well without Joe Burrow. You guys know all the storylines, all the matchups. One we haven't talked about is the Battle of Taylor's, Case. Press versus Zach.
I kind of forgot about that.
Does that add anything to you about this game? I really don't think it matters at all.
Yeah, no, I haven't even thought about it once, but it is correct.
I have seen a few members of the media try to play it up a little bit.
Oh, have you?
Just a little bit. Don't mind me. I don't like to critique members of the media, so I won't name names, but
really,
yeah, it's just another one of those storylines that really doesn't mean a thing at all.
Not one thing.
But it will take up some web pages on the internet.
That's all that matters. Take up space. That's what we do here, right, buddy?
Yeah.
Amen.
Let me ask you this. A couple of things going on in the game tonight, little narratives we may not have mentioned up to this point. But first and foremost, do you feel like it's over and done with for the Bengals? Season is lost for them. Nothing to be gained here.
The definition of lost, yeah.
I'm not necessarily even talking about the playoffs at this point. Like, I know they've got a young guy in the backfield that they were looking to take over for Joe Mixon at some point next year after they get off this contract this year. I know they signed a one-year deal. Like, they're starting to play that kid a little bit more. Maybe that's something we see here tonight. That would be a best-case scenario for the Jaguars if the Bengals start to see what they've got in terms of what's in the cupboard.
Yeah, I just don't really know what there is to gain. They're out of it. It's over. I mean, I get it. You can't say that. And when you've got guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins as well, who you're not even sure if he's going to be back now, you've got some pieces on defense. You can't say it, but, I mean, the worst thing you can be in the NFL is mediocre. And they're smack in the middle of that right now without Joe Burrow. So I would try my best to not be mediocre. You either need to win or lose.
Worse than laughingstock? Because I feel like
laughingstock, you get the number one pick.
Well, the Jets have been a laughingstock for 12 years, and we don't really get the number one pick.
Well, you did. You had it that one time, but Frank Gore got the first.
Yeah.
We love you, Frank.
Appreciate that.
More and more every day. Thank you, my brother.
I'm glad you guys get to enjoy the fruits of his labor.
Love you, Frank.
Yeah. What about Josh Allen, man? Josh Allen been having a monster year this year. Comes into this game against a leaky Bengals front. You got Trayvon Walker opposite him. You got the Jaguars interior front looking to jumpstart some action after a little bit of inactivity. Do you think the boys will eat in this game? What are you expecting?
Yeah, hopefully this is a big game for Trayvon Walker. I mean, really everybody on their front, there should be an opportunity because they have not been able to protect Joe Burrow as long as they've been a team, and Joe Burrow's been on their team. The injury that he has right now has nothing to do with the offensive line. It has more so to do with the hand, but he tore his whole ACL because of an offensive line that couldn't protect him. So, yeah, I mean, that's the book on the Bengals. It's what it has been. They've played better at times, but they've really got nothing to play for right now. And it feels like, if anything, the Bengals are unmotivated because there's nowhere to go, and that's a bad look for your offensive line. I think you have an opportunity to put up one of those pass rush extravaganzas.
Extravaganza. I like the sound of that. It's not something you see very often here out of Jacksonville, a pass rush extravaganza.
But this could be so needed for Trayvon Walker because everything that Monday Night Football is, and all the conversations about a guy like Aiden Hutchinson and what he's done in the last couple of years. If Trayvon Walker could have a coming out party in this football game in front of everybody, that narrative may start to change, at least nationally, which would be a good thing.
It's actually an interesting point where Trayvon could finally start to get the fruits of some good press.
Yeah, because I would imagine the casual football fan watching this game isn't really thinking about a number 1 overall pick that Trayvon Walker was, because there's just no real storylines around it, unfortunately. So hopefully ESPN got to break out a bunch of graphics they haven't used when Trayvon Walker's getting sacks left and right.
So let me ask you this. Right now, if the over-under on sacks, Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, you take them both over at a half sack, you're picking, I think it's plus 375.
I would take them both over on a half.
You would take them both over, wouldn't you?
I would.
And then looking at interceptions, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Jake Browning, I think, is plus or minus 170 to throw a pick, yep. Plus 275 to throw 2. You think Cisco's going to eat? Darius Williams, obviously a candidate to grab one. We've seen Rayshon Jenkins with a pick before. But your boy Tyson Campbell, if he plays in the game right now, plus 1,000 for an interception.
Yeah, it just, I don't understand how the game can go any other way. Like, I would be, and I've been before, by the way, stunned, floored, shocked, all the words if the Bengals can run the football. I don't believe they will be able to against the Jags. So unless the Bengals quit on the field and just go back to Cincinnati, they're going to have to throw the football, which isn't really going to work out for them.
I was going to say, it doesn't mean it'll work. It doesn't mean they'll complete the passes.
Right, that's my point. Yeah. So I'm saying that there should be plenty of opportunity for sacks and for turnovers for the Jags. And if you're telling me that, again, if Tyson Campbell plays in the football game, that all he needs is one, and we think he's their best corner, I mean, it's appetizing. Aaron.
Yeah.
Imagine that parlayed with 7 other things. You might never have to go outside again.
That's true. I told you earlier in the show I saw Evan Ingram at 41.5 for over-under on receiving yards. That's not the number I'm seeing in the Hard Rock Bet app at this point. That number has actually shifted way up to 48.5 yards. You're still going over on that for Evan Ingram, though.
48.5?
Yeah.
Yes.
You got Calvin at 57.5, Christian at 51.5, and Brent, you got Evan Ingram now. 48.5 is the number for over or under if you're looking at any of these receivers on player props.
Do you did that go up quite a bit since we came on air? Didn't you guys say
not
like
since
40?
we came on air. The number I have is from ESPN Bet that I read you earlier. I don't know if that shifted on that platform, but we can't use it here in Florida. So the Hard Rock Bet app says 48.5 for Evan Ingram.
Okay. Well, yeah, listen, I mean, I like it. I really like Evan getting in the end zone. I mean, sooner or later, you got to play the trend, right?
Well, Case, you've been betting the anytime on Evan Ingram for a while now.
I've been playing the trend for months, okay? So the trend is he better score at some point because I'm down, like, significantly. So we're going to need one.
We're talking about, I mean, what does he have catch-wise this year, 64, something like that? I mean, that's a lot. But if you go back to last year in the regular season, now he did have one in the playoff game against the Chargers. So I guess technically the streak doesn't go all the way back. But from a regular season standpoint, it goes back to the Tennessee Titans game when they won in Nashville 36-22, and he scored twice in that game. But if you start to pile up the numbers, that's more than like 90 catches ago, I think. That's very unusual to catch that many footballs and not end up in the end zone. You know, we had him on Jaguars All Access last week, and he was kind of laughing about it. You know, I don't think he's feeling it. Obviously, Trevor missed him in the end zone the other day, but he's a team guy, certainly wants to get in the end zone, and says he doesn't usually have celebrations in mind, but it's been so long that he's been thinking about a few.
Nice.
Is he? Is it me or is Evan Ingram's catches number quietly surprising anybody? It's more inflated than you would expect based on the lack of touchdowns. You're just not hearing his name as much.
Well, and here's the other reason why I don't think you hear it. It's not only tight ends. It's not only touchdowns. It's because the yards per catch is 8 yards? I mean, it's I think they're important yards. I think what Evan Ingram's doing is just fine. It's a big part of this offense. But I also think from, let's just say a fantasy standpoint or other things, it's not, 6 catches for 94 yards.
But it is
where a lot of these tight ends are doing that.
Well, last year he was spiking and then he'd lull and spike and lull. And this year I think it's been more consistent with a lower number. But on pace right now for damn near 100 catches. I don't think anyone saw that coming at the beginning of the season besides Evan Ingram and Trevor Lawrence.
I did not. And here's the other thing I think we've learned, guys, that this offense early in games, and we'll see if defenses figure it out, has to work in the passing game through Ingram and through Kirk. And if they get those guys involved on these 4, 5, 8, 12-yard catches, right, not these shots down the field, and they set up pretty good situations and, they'll stay on the schedule, it usually opens things up as the game goes along, potentially now for Zay Jones, but specifically Calvin Ridley. And so it doesn't start with Calvin Ridley. I think it gets to Calvin Ridley courtesy of Ingram and Kirk. You know what I mean?
ETN, yes.
And ETN, too. And so I think that's the way this offense has been at its best when they do that. And so I think you'll get more of the same. Some simple, safe stuff early on, some rollout stuff to the tight ends, and then you get Calvin Ridley and try to hit the home run or Zay Jones down the field, or it might even open things up for these long crossing plays for Christian Kirk downfield.
I would love to see Kirk get involved, but at some point, I guess it's the same story every game that you want to see a big Jags offensive output. You go, you can't have 4 or 5 guys shine, can you? There's got to be 2 who shine and 3 who complement.
I think also that's why you see the props where they're at. I think they're a tricky team for
who's going to get it?
Vegas, right? Yeah. I mean, I think you don't know. And that goes back to Friday's conversation with Dan Orlovsky. And he said it. And I thought this was the best thing Dan said to us.
Ooh.
Because I asked him about the offense of Doug Peterson. Is Trevor in a really good spot? And does this offense here in Jacksonville have legs to last for a long time to come? Can you sustain it? And I think what he said was, this is a chameleon offense. He can't figure it out. You can't label it. You certainly have some identity with the players that it has, but you don't know exactly where the ball's going to go. And I love the word chameleon there. And I think for the player props in this instance that you're talking about, but for defenses as well, if you go in thinking tonight that Evan Ingram is going to have a good game and a big game, and you can game plan and you can work Evan Ingram into certain spots. Well, if they decide to take that away, the Jags just make a quick adjustment, and they go to Ridley, Zay Jones, Kirk, more ETN. I mean, they have a lot of answers in the offensive game when it's clicking, when they're blocking, when they're staying on schedule, all these things, which they've really done well the last couple of weeks. But I think that's a great way to describe this offense. We do not know going into tonight who's going to have the big game. And opposing defenses don't seem to know either.
Not only that, but it's not an adjustment you need to make with a tablet or inside a locker room. You can make that adjustment at the line. All the guys are out there already on each of those plays. You can pivot much more quickly than maybe some of the other teams.
Yeah, I think, that's more Trevor, right?
Yeah, totally.
That Trevor's his ability to identify the offense, to feel comfortable with the offense. There's a lot of conversation around here in this building that he is more vocal about what he wants to do with the offense, what he's comfortable with, this ownership of Trevor's offense, not just Doug and Press Taylor's offense. And so I think that's a great sign. I think that's maturation. I think that's growth. And I think we're just going to see that. I don't think that part's done. I think that continues for years and years to come. That's not just a December into January thing in 2023, boom, that's it, the ceiling. No, I think we've got a couple more years of seeing that growth and that comfortability and still, progressing in his career of how he identifies things at the line of scrimmage, but even going into a football game and what he likes. And speaking of that, isn't this kind of fun? Press Taylor against Zach Taylor, calling plays.
I call this out as one of those storylines that doesn't matter that people are talking about.
No, it's just fun. There doesn't matter, not really, because what it would matter is if Press Taylor was a defensive coordinator, right?
Then it would be interesting. OC versus DC, sure.
Yeah, but I think it is I mean, we do think, and it's out there that Press Taylor's calling the plays. Do I think there's a little Doug influence from time to time? Absolutely. But we do think Press Taylor's calling the plays, and Zach Taylor does that for the Bengals. And so I just think it's, I mean, maybe for nothing else, to your point, it doesn't necessarily factor in at how you view who's going to win or lose. But I was thinking of it from, could they help their defenses out a little bit, maybe by knowing the tendencies of each other?
Yes, but also I find it hard to believe there's a tendency known that wasn't discussed or discovered during the preparation.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's a lot that gets done.
Not to rain on your parade or anything like that.
Well,
I do like the idea of brother versus brother, whether it was the Ryans back in the day or even the LaFleurs before you had one ascend much higher than the other.
Yeah, I think I don't think necessarily for the whole game is what I was referring to. I just wonder in like a spot, like, you know, if you see something. I don't know. I don't know how that part works, but other than that, it's just kind of a fun deal. Pretty impressive too. I mean, that family could end up with 2 head coaches in the National Football League.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
Which is pretty wild, yeah. So we'll see what that happens. But the star of the coaching staff to me this year has actually been Mike Caldwell.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it. We did not expect the evolution of Mike Caldwell is actually a fascinating one here in the last 2 years in Jacksonville. I mean, if you go all the way back to that Detroit game where people were literally saying, I'm not sure this guy's going to last. Like, we were having the conversations last year in December, guys.
Yeah.
About this week in December last year that, you know, they might have to make a move in the offseason on defensive coordinator. This might not work.
I was asking you if they had to make the move in season. It was that bad for a little bit.
And the bottom line is, I'm not sure any of it was really his fault. Well, let maybe say any of it. I think some of it probably was. He was a rookie defensive coordinator calling plays. But he also had a corner go down, had some young players with their heads spinning, like Devin Lloyd and even Trayvon Walker. They had a young football team on that side anyway. They had a lot of new parts. And what he's been able to do, I've just been so impressed with the buttons that he pushes in a game. And you go all the way back to the Tennessee game last year, and the story there is he called the play at the perfect time that led to the Rayshon Jenkins forced fumble, Josh Allen scoop and score, and for the Jacksonville Jaguars to be in the postseason and win the AFC South. Like, that was his call, and they executed it, and they got the perfect play they were lined up against. But I don't think that's the only time he's done that. I think they've done a fantastic job of that on the defensive side, calling the right plays, having a good feel for the game, putting his guys in the right position, and developing. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these young guys get better. I'm not sure we talk about Mike Caldwell quite enough.
Yeah, well, he's certainly getting talked about in league circles at this point. His name's starting to get mentioned when you talk about possible head coaching candidates this coming offseason. And if the Jags finish the season with this defense being consistently a good defense to help them win games, creating turnovers all over the place, you could be assured he'll have some interviews.
Yeah, I mean, really all the coordinators are doing a great job. I mean, the whole coaching staff's doing a good job. What's the weak link of this football team?
Weak link of the football team, huh?
Kasey, you still think it's the offensive line?
Weaker than the pass rush?
I mean, probably more so than the other spot. They've been good, they've been bad.
They've been good recently.
And they've been bad.
Good.
But they've been good recently.
But they've been
I understand,
bad.
Case. But if the story thus far has been, hey, give them time to cook, they need time to play together, they need time to gel, and they're doing that, I think it's unfair to go, all right, but they played bad early in the season. Different unit.
I just, there's nothing else to pick, in my opinion.
But, like, so because Aaron said this, and at the start of the year, and I think people will go here, it's like the pass rush. Is it?
Well,
like,
you got Josh Allen creating real pass rush. You got Trayvon Walker getting pressures on the quarterback. But for the pass rush to finish off plays, you're not seeing it. Do you need to see it? I don't know that you need to see it. You've got other things happening. You got a great linebacking core that's helping out on each of those plays. You got a staunch coverage team in the secondary, but that is the one piece. If you're looking for a weak link, that is, in my opinion, the weakest of all the links you got.
Well, the thing about that, though, Aaron, is when they don't feel like they're getting enough, they dial something up like a Trey Herndon corner blitz, and it seems to work. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, Mike Caldwell seems to do a very good job. And even when they're not getting home in sacks, it feels like they're disruptive. Like, has there been a game that Josh Allen hasn't been disruptive?
No, there hasn't.
I believe that they can get more consistent play. In fact, at this stage of it, you might be able to say it could get more consistent play out of their interior pass rush than even their offensive line. Because the offensive line has done it like 3 out of 4 games, 4 out of 5 games, something like that. If you go back to New Orleans, really San Francisco was the one bad game in that. But the interior of the defensive line, like, they've been okay because they've been very good against the run. But from a pass rush standpoint, I think they can be better, and we saw that last week. Against Houston, they were the best they've been yet, in my opinion, on the interior. And if they do that, then this defense is going to create more problems with what Josh Allen's doing on the outside and what Trayvon Walker's capable of doing. I thought one of you guys would say the run game. I mean, the run game right now is, if statistically, it has not been good.
Yeah. But if you're thinking that Travis Etienne might be a little dinged up and you want to get Dearness Johnson in the game for the first couple of times this season, like, I would expect the hiccup to come. It's not really worrying to me.
Yeah, I think from a worry standpoint, it's the situation of last week where they're up by, I believe, 10. They get a 4th down and 1 against Houston. They don't cash in. They get the ball at the 46-yard line of Houston with 9 minutes to go. They can put the game away, guys. And we know what Houston's been doing. They've been rallying late. Well, they couldn't get a first down. They missed the long kick, first one in like 20 attempts for McManus. And they keep Houston in the game. They go down and score. They end up getting the ball back. They missed a field goal. Like, that scenario maybe should never happen if you can run in the times you need to run. Now, I think that's getting harder and harder around the league. I mean, we see people get stopped all the time in those situations. I almost feel like you have to pass in those situations to be able to move the chains and keep the clock going. But I think the Jaguars over these last couple years, from short yardage situations to need to run situations, really is enough evidence they haven't been great. And will that come back and bite them at some point in a one-score game when you could put the game away, you leave your defense on the field, and somebody comes down the field and beats you? I think that's an interesting thing to watch. Along with the health and everything else of guys like Etienne, but that's stuff you can't control. You are who you are at this point. Have we seen enough evidence where their short yardage run game, their power run game, just isn't good enough? Where nobody's saying that about teams like San Francisco or teams like Philadelphia in the NFC. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. We're having some fun as we get closer and closer to Monday Night Football on ESPN. 8:15 kickoff. The Jaguars and the Bengals. The fans have been let in, and it's going to be buzzing tonight here in Jacksonville. Look around the rest of the league and also go back to that number 1 seed opportunity for the Jags. How good of a chance do they have to get it? We'll talk about it on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Much cooler tonight, still with some partly cloudy skies as temperatures dip down into the 40s away from the beaches and lower 50s to the immediate coast. Needing the jackets early Tuesday with partly cloudy skies and cool high temperatures in the mid-60s. Sunshine returns by Wednesday with breezy conditions, highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s with some early morning frost by Thursday, highs back into the 60s with sunshine. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Trevor Gibbs.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods has been serving excellence in Florida since 1928.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
The 12 Days of Christmas is back and better than ever at Best Bet Jacksonville. From December 12th to the 23rd, we're lighting up the tables with the much-anticipated 12 Days of Christmas High Hands and giving away over $275,000 in cash. The excitement grows each day, starting at $1,200 and climbing up to $2,300, and the chance to set sail on a World Poker Tour cruise. Don't miss out on the action. Explore all our December promotions at bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com, your destination destination for the best poker action this holiday season.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus in President State where lawful to wager. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager, only $5 pregame moneyline wager required. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Guarding Your Nest Egg radio show. Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisor fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
Visit guardingyournestegg.com to find out more.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Lord License D056341.
Tuning into the baseball game, monitoring the incoming storm, catching your favorite talk show. These are just a few of the reasons more than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month. And did you know AM radio is the backbone of the emergency alert system? It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hey, it's Amanda, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nugget trays is that they're so easy for the holidays. They're warm and flavorful. It's always a crowd pleaser. When I put down a nugget tray, everyone is happy.
Hey, this is Brian, and the little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A nugget trays is the joy that it brings to me and everybody around me during the holidays. They're warm, juicy, and delicious.
Cater the holidays with Chick-fil-A today. Available on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
O'Reilly. Does your vehicle have over 75,000 miles? Get maximum high mileage engine protection with Syntec Full Synthetic High Mileage Motor Oil exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec High Mileage and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $34.99. Limit supply. Ask for Syntec High Mileage at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This time of year, big box tool stores start to sell a whole bunch of not tools, from dancing Santas to plastic trees. At Northern Tool and Equipment, we'd rather sell you a 4-horsepower chainsaw fitted with a full chisel chain to cut down your own tree. And we have wood chippers come January, because you know, mulch. We're cutting prices on power tools, automotive Jackson stands, and portable inverter generators this holiday season. Save in store or at northerntool.com.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
You don't even like your quarterback.
Kasey Kuhrts.
You don't even like your team.
And Aaron Schachter.
I don't even like myself, guys. Do you know me?
On Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, welcome back to Everbank Stadium. Monday Night Football in Jacksonville. The Bengals and the Jaguars. And if you missed it, the money is on the Jags, by the way. 10.5-point favorites now against these Bengals. Joe Burrow's not playing, but wow. I mean, that's an incredible line. And we know what Vegas is rooting for here tonight.
I'll tell you what they're rooting for right now is Tank Bigsby not to score because Aaron just put everything on it.
God bless you.
It's going for it.
It's a good
you
three.
are going for it.
Nah, it's a good three-legger, Brent. It's a good three-legger that we got.
What else you got in there?
I got Bigsby for an anytime tutty in the game, right? I needed to jack the odds up, so he took Bigsby for an anytime tutty. I got over 20.5 yards for Dearnest. Feel like he could do that pretty easily tonight. And I've got over half of Jake Browning interception. So Browning's got to throw a pick. Johnson's got to rush for 21 or more. And Tank's got to get in the end zone. And we're going to turn $25 into $400.
Very good. Throw the pizza party.
Yeah, man.
At the Action Sports Shacks ESPN 690 studios, please. Hey, the Jags obviously a big focus, and because of the Monday night game, because the AFC South, guys, are the Colts and Texans any danger here? Even though the Jags have the tiebreaker against the Colts with a sweep, and also they hold like every tiebreaker with the Houston Texans, but they keep winning. I mean, they're right there, waiting for the Jags to slip up. Is that going to continue by Houston and the Colts?
Yeah, it is kind of a dangerous situation, isn't it? Like, if the Jags don't stay locked in to what they've got going on, it's very, very thin line between elation and depression here in Jacksonville.
Well, Kasey, I actually think the idea that these teams are still right there keep the Jags, like, extra focused. But I think there's a little bit of concern that we talk about the number one seed seeding in general and dismiss the fact that, hey, you still have to win the AFC South.
Forget the AFC South case. We weren't even talking about the Colts until halfway through last week.
No concern, boys. No concern at all. Not worried about it. Colts, not good. I don't care what the record says. Not good.
They're 7-5.
They're no good. Texans, good, but not worried about them.
They just lost a big-time receiver, too.
Yeah. That hurt.
No more tush-push for them. They couldn't figure out how to do it. They got a receiver pushing a guy that's nowhere near the play, breaks his leg. Not good. Not
How about the
good.
job the Colts are doing, though? I mean, Minshew and I mean, I know they still, like, they feel
not good, yeah.
Just okay. They feel just okay. But they've weathered some things now. They've been without Taylor for a bunch. They're going to be without him more. They've done the whole Anthony Richardson stuff. They've done a bunch of outside noise on their owner and other things. And Minshew's just kind of getting the job done, winning games, finding ways to win games. And we brought this up last week, Aaron. They're scoring at like over 25 a game. I know some of this is special teams yesterday, but the bottom line is you look up at the scoreboard and they're in the mid-20s and sometimes 30s just about every week.
And I did get to watch a lot of that game yesterday, unfortunately for me. And it was very much what you'd expect from Gardner. There was a lot of plodding around early on. It wasn't dominant or great at all, but when it counted, Gardner moved the ball downfield, especially towards the end of the game to force overtime. And, you know, what happens, but
it's actually a highly entertaining game.
Yeah, sure. For some
what
parts. Maybe not so much in the beginning.
What's the best game? What was the most entertaining game yesterday? Probably the Packers and Chiefs at night, but
Packers
during the
and
day.
Chiefs.
I mean, maybe the Broncos and Texans?
I mean, I was full of laughs during the
Jets-Falcons game, so.
Oh,
Lions not Saints. Entertaining.
Lions Saints?
Yeah, Lions Saints had some entertainment value.
Well, especially because the Saints almost came back and won the thing.
Yeah. I know. The Lions defense is concerning, isn't it?
Very concerning. That's the second week in a row and maybe the fourth time this season where you go, the Lions had the game locked up by double digits and just allowed the team to get back in it.
I mean, Chargers-Patriots was a good one if you're on a time crunch. If you only had 45 minutes to watch football, they played 4 quarters in 45 minutes. It was amazing.
That was amazing. All right, let's look at the seeding. The Dolphins and the Ravens right there. The Jags need to win to obviously move into that one spot. How does this play out? Like, are the Jags going to win out? Like, seriously, what are the percentages the Jags win out for you guys? Do you have a feel that they could, that they will?
I think there are two things going on here when you say something like that, and maybe I'm not the only one. There's the part of my brain that hears Jaguars and winning out that goes, no. But it has nothing to do with this year. Like, it's a totally separate animal. In a vacuum this year, you go, yeah, they got better than a shot to do that. It seems like they're likely to do that, if not come close to it. One loss.
Kasey, how
0%,
feel
Brad,
about that?
0% chance
This is what
they
I'm
win
talking
out.
about. Why?
Because it's the NFL. Teams lose.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
No team has ever finished a season with 3 wins? Come on.
3 losses, you mean?
I mean, 3 losses, it's absolutely probable.
First of all, it's not probable that they will win out.
No, not probable they would. I'm just saying a team finishes this year with 3 losses.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure, somebody can.
Okay,
it's not going to be the Jags.
Right now, you got 3 teams in the AFC with 3 losses. So you got a 33% chance if you're not counting anything else.
They ain't winning out.
Oh, listen to that Monday Night Football stuff.
Dog, we
They're
are
showing
listening
Rasheed Mathis
to
and Paul
everything.
Posluszny. Is it loud?
We
Josh
have
Scobie.
We have heard Jackson DeVille jump off the roof. We have heard them announce the whole starting lineup.
It's ambiance.
Who's playing?
Yeah, Casey, you
Do
know
want me
so
to tell
much.
you? I mean, I
Who's
heard it.
playing?
It's only the offense.
Did you hear Tyson Campbell?
Nah, Walker Little's playing left tackle, though.
Tyson Campbell a thing? Did you hear that? We didn't hear it.
We only heard the offense. Brent, what do you know? He's hearing things.
Oh, boy.
Brent?
I think we have a good feel for that. Oh, look at Jacksonville looking beautiful up on the big board.
Maybe you heard a rumor, Brent. Maybe you heard a
I'm cutting
rumor.
that off.
Okay, that's fine.
Bert, plus 1,100 for an interception. What should I do? Bert?
Yes, no, I think it's yes. Thinking of the Jacksonville Jaguars winning out seems difficult, but like, where is the static outside of the NFL being the wacky NFL? It's going to be that Ravens game and possibly that Browns game, but the Browns look pretty putrid yesterday as well.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
They got
Like,
decimated.
Here's what I thought about this, okay? I thought the Jags would win tonight, even with Burrow. If you go back, I thought they'd find a way to win this one. And then I thought I like them against the Ravens for some reason, but it's not a lock, don't get me wrong. But I did not like that game in Cleveland. I was concerned about that. But the bottom line is, the way Cleveland is right now, I think Cooper went out of that game again. Myles Garrett's banged up.
Cooper did go out of the game.
Or whoever is at quarterback.
But he did not play poorly, Flacco. But
no, he actually played pretty well.
To your point, Cooper did go out again, yes.
But still, I mean, come on. I like my chances against 400-year-old Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Who's played like one football game in 3 years, it feels like.
Sure.
So, like, all of a sudden, I feel like the Jags, might get that game now. And in this stretch of Houston, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and then Baltimore, where I thought they'd have to go to 3-1 to get the top seed, to be in the play for the top seed, and need help like they got last night with Kansas City. I feel like they're going to get 3-1 wins going into Baltimore. I think they're going to win tonight. I feel like they're going to win next week. And then I think Baltimore's an interesting one. But keep in mind, if you look at the schedules, Baltimore has to play a pretty tough road. I think they still have the Dolphins and the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken, and the Jaguars. The Dolphins play a tough road down the stretch, I believe. They play the Ravens, of course. And then they also play they play 2 other teams that I thought could beat them, and now I can't remember which ones. So, I mean, this could go any way. Like, the Jags actually could lose a game and still get in. You know, the Chiefs have the Bills next week. The Bills are desperate. It's not an easy game.
Sure. They're not going to just roll over, I don't believe. But, you're looking at that Cleveland team, and I understand what you're saying about how you're feeling a little more confident about the game next week. But Cleveland is coming off 2 road losses to a welcome home crowd against the Jaguars. So that is one thing that will play against you. It is hard to play in Cleveland. That is a raucous crowd. You know how passionate those fans are. And they got embarrassed 2 weeks in a row against the Denver Broncos, 12-29, and against the Los Angeles Rams, 19-36. So you got to believe Cleveland's going to come in meaning business on defense when they play the Jaguars.
This defense was awesome, and they've given up 29 and 36 to your point against Denver and the Rams. I mean, this defense, this team that got off to such a great start for Cleveland is a shell of itself right now.
By the way,
I don't think Cleveland's going to be hopping. I think they know they're a shell of themselves.
Okay.
I don't think there's a lot of belief in that football team right now.
I mean, playoffs are on the line for
Flacco.
Cleveland. I think they will. The fans will absolutely be hopping. But this vaunted defense that we were all quivering about, when you look at it from the 30,000-foot view, it's like, all right, they haven't necessarily been consistent all years. They held the Bengals to 3, then gave up 20 to the Steelers, or 26 to the Steelers. They held the Titans to 3, and they gave up 28 to the Ravens, 38 to the Colts, 24 to the Seahawks, 31 to the Ravens again. So, I mean, they can get got. The question is, will Jacksonville be up to the task?
Yeah, I feel different about that game. I still think there's a possibility because it's sandwiched between all this. Houston was a huge game, 2 primetime games, bring out a lot of emotion, and then you go up to Cleveland in December. Now, the weather, by the way, looks like 49, 50 degrees I've seen, maybe some rain.
Advantage
so not
Jacksonville.
nearly as bad as it could have been,
yeah.
Going up to Cleveland. So we'll see. I do think if they – obviously it's the next couple of weeks because you do believe they can beat Tampa. Tampa's like sputtering. Carolina's not good, and Tennessee will have, booked the golf course by then. you would think.
Yeah.
So the Jags are just clearly better than those last three teams, in my opinion. These next 3 weeks, tonight, next week, and Baltimore tell the story unless the Jags kind of slip up. And I think they're going to get more help is my point. I believe there's a really good chance that the number 1 seed even has 4 losses in the AFC.
That'd be a thing you haven't seen in a long time. I wonder when the last time that was.
Yeah, that's a good call. Kansas City was 14-3 last year, I think. And now this whole dynamic changes a bit because you have that 17th game. And that's new. But I think the Jaguars are right there. I believe Baltimore right now feels like the best team in the AFC, even better than the Jags, potentially, than what we've seen. Their defense is pretty damn good. And Lamar's won an MVP award. But even those guys, they lose Mark Andrews. That's a big part of it.
Big time.
Guys, a lot of this is going to be attrition, staying healthy. And the Jaguars obviously need a little luck doing that. Everybody does. But what do people look like in 3 weeks, in 6 weeks? Attrition plays a huge role, as we're seeing. That's why the door is opened up. That's why the Jags are 10.5-point favorites tonight over the Bengals, because of attrition to Cincinnati at the quarterback position.
It was going to be so interesting because the Cincy, Cleveland, Baltimore games, you were going up against these MVP caliber quarterbacks, but in Burrow and Watson and Lamar, when all healthy and playing well, all do kind of different things to be super successful. That's what I thought was going to be one of the bigger challenges. It wasn't just that you were going up against teams with good defenses or teams with good receivers. It was 3 superstar quarterbacks who kind of play wildly different games.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
but that's not what you got anymore.
The bottom line is they play 2 winning teams the rest of the way. Cleveland next week at 6-5, and obviously 9-3 Baltimore. And that's it. And we believe around here the Jags are just getting better and better as they go. That's the other part of this. We don't feel like they're like overachieving right now or they've maxed out and hit their ceiling. It's a pretty good feeling here in Jacksonville. How's this one shake out tonight? What do we think? Jags win? By how much? Is Vegas right? Prop bets have been laid. Same game parlays have been executed.
It's only a 3-legger.
Dearness Johnson.
Come on, buddy.
15-cent bet to win
$8,000.
I'll tell you what,
which has me scoring a touchdown.
Don't let Tyson Campbell have 2 picks and a fumble recovery. I'm never coming back to work. I promise you I'm not.
You better hope he plays.
I'm hoping they're going to refund. I'm going to keep it real with you if he doesn't.
We'll be back, Brent and Friends, on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
From selling out of the back of a car to one of the biggest outfitters in the Southeast, Baker Sports is quite the story. And on a daily basis, they are helping you write your story with a high school name or sports team across a uniform and so much more. And now it's a one-stop shop with Baker Sports, carrying Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour. They already make you look good, and now they can help you look better than ever. Baker Sports, custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team. And it's easy to do at bakersport.com.
As the seasons change, one thing remains the same. Jacksonville and all of Northeast Florida are fueled by Celsius Essential Energy Drinks. If you spot ESPN 690 anywhere in the community, come hang with us and grab an ice-cold Celsius.
Don't go through another year with that awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics right now and get a free consultation at 904-274-5522. Make 2024 the year you are back to living normal life again. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau. QC Kinetics can give you your life back. They're the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. These are all natural treatments that can repair and restore that damaged tissue, giving you pain-free movement once again. QC Kinetics has tens of thousands of satisfied patients around the country, people who had knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, who are able to get lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. If you have pain from an old injury or pain associated with arthritis, you need to check this out and get a free consultation, 904-274-5522 with QC Kinetics. The future of medicine is here. Regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. Make the call now and get a free consultation so you can get the most out of 2024. 904-274-5522.
Frank, you got to come see my new windows from American Window Products. They're beautiful and they keep the house so cool.
Oh, slow down, Jim.
No, Frank. American Window Products is having a sale right now, and you said you wanted a locally owned business with qualified products and professional installers. Well, American Window Products has all that and more.
More?
Yes, selection and great prices at American Window Products.
Whoa, what's that number?
731-2247, a family-owned business since 1981. Check them out at AmericanWindowProducts.com. Call them, Frank.
I'm calling American Window Products right now, Jim.
Hey, if you're like most people listening to this station, you like singing to Taylor and rhyming with Tyler. You love The Weeknd and listening to him too. At Community First Credit Union, we get that. And we get you, which is why we're here to help you live your best life by providing all the financial services you need, like free checking, an easy app, and digital payments. So just be yourself. Sing along to your favorite songs and come to Community First. CommunityFirstFL.org. Member NCUA.
Time to hoop it up and swoop it up with the Ospreys. Men's and women's basketball season is here. They are off and running. UNFOspreys.com for your season tickets. Plenty of options in the beautiful UNF Arena to watch a fun brand of hoops. In December alone, 7 home games between the men and the women. Season tickets, flex plans, premium seat, and suite options are available. Matthew Driscoll and the men off to a nice start. New women's coach Erica Lambert has her team playing tough. It's the busiest home slate in the D1 era. More than 30 games at UNF Arena. Go to UNFOspreys.com.
Jasmine is Northeast Florida's only LGBTQ plus youth center, offering health and mental health programs, housing supports, and teen and family initiatives. Jasmine is the safe place our LGBTQ plus young people need right now. Partner to support our effort. Visit jasmine.org today.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose. Mommy. That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Hi, what brings you to the clinic today?
Oh, the baby's not feeling well. I think she might have a fever.
Well, let's check her temp with the Exergen thermometer. You're right. These Exergen thermometers are very accurate. Reads 101.2.
Oh, gosh. Well, that Exergen thermometer sure is fast and easy to use.
Yes, and many doctors recommend Exergen for home use.
Exergen thermometers, backed by over 100 clinical studies, are available at Walgreens and participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
It was about a year ago we were car shopping at Nimnicht Buick GMC once again. This was our 6th car purchase from the Nimnicht family of dealerships. Is it time to car shop for you? NimnichtBuickGMC.com or the showroom off Phillips Highway. That's the place to go. Special financing on new GMC Sierras, Acadias, and Terrains, or you can save thousands on a Buick SUV. Want a used vehicle? Nimnicht Buick GMC is the #1 Car Bravo dealer in the Southeast. Visit off Phillips Highway or just go to NimnichtBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Paid actor portrayal.
I didn't see it coming. Life can be so unpredictable. After losing my dad, it made me think about my family if something were to happen to me. The mortgage, car payments, and all the other bills. Even things like our annual summer vacation would be out of reach. I had heard about life insurance through Ethos and how easy it was to get coverage. They were right. I knew it was time to stop putting it off and get life insurance right now. I got on my computer and went to ethoslife.com. In just 10 minutes, I was covered. And boom, family protected. Thanks to Ethos, my family won't have to worry about the bills if the unpredictable happens to me.
Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's GETETHOS.com.
Hey, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
Welcome back to Brent and Friends, ESPN 690. Putting a bow on the aforementioned show. It's Monday Night Football night, folks. Jaguars getting ready to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Brent Martineau, Aaron Schachter, Kasey Kuhrts. Me and Case live from the studio, but Brent live from Everbank Stadium. Brent, you look great under the lights, buddy.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Changed. I had the sweatshirt on, then the shirt. Now I got the blazer on. Look at this one, guys. See that? If you watch on the Facebook, YouTube,
I've seen that one before. Yeah, the one you got for the sports department.
That's right. You guys aren't included there.
Speaking of Brent merch, I wore some Brent merch this weekend. I wore my Dream 18 short-sleeved hoodie this weekend.
How about that? That baby.
I also have made another 5-legger in the commercial break if you're interested.
Where'd you go? Can you share it?
Really bad around here.
Yeah. So originally we had a 3-leg parlay that we placed a little earlier in the show. That was a Tank Bigsby anytime touchdown, over 20.5 yards for Dearness Johnson, over a half interception for Jake Browning. That would have paid out $400 on a $25 bet. We're now placing a $15 bet on a 5-leg parlay for over a half for a sack for Trayvon Walker. The same for Josh Allen, so a sack for both the boys. Over on receptions for Ingram, 4.5. Over on yards for Ingram, 48.5. Over on yards for Ridley, 56.5. That $15 bet, when I hit it tonight, will pay out $240.
Ooh. Yeah, you got a lot cooking.
In the money, boys.
Actually, what he's cooking is a problem. A gambling problem.
Look, it's fine because I haven't spent any money yet. No, it's fine. I haven't spent anything, Kate.
Oh, yeah, because you had got ahead. You were ahead.
I'm way ahead.
This is house money.
House money, boys.
I feel like after this show, we should play one. Remember that FanDuel spot that plays on here that has a 40-second disclaimer?
Is that what that disclaimer says?
Yeah.
I never listened to it.
Yeah, that should be you. Please don't take this as game.
That's the next game you should play, by the way. Be
What's
able to
that?
interpret that disclaimer and then do it.
Ooh. I'm pretty good at talking fast. I do disclaimers for a living, fellas.
Oh.
Do you?
I do.
That's
Give
a
us
talent.
You want a disclaimer? I got a donkey disclaimer.
Give me one.
It's price of participation may vary. Valid where price of participation. I screwed it up. Price of participation.
He's got no shot.
I missed it. Yeah, but normally I'm pretty good with it.
That's good.
Thank you.
Especially if it's right in front of you. I mean,
when I'm reading
you're
it.
ad-libbing it right now.
What do you mean that's good? He got 3 words
Hey, we're
into
supportive here, Case. Don't be so toxic.
I have never once been supported. At any point have I been called stupid and dumb and all these other things. At no point have I been supported. Thank you.
I've got the Florida license number, CFC 1428211.
There it goes.
There you go.
I love it.
The disclaimer.
It was
That's
literally
for CGC water, by the way.
like syllables.
Great pricing around the holidays for CGC water. Get yourself
Yeah, let's get a read-in.
Softener.
Cool.
Hey, we use it. You should too, Casey.
Amen, brother.
Hey, all right. What do you think? What's going to happen tonight?
I think I'm going to cash in, buddy. Come on.
This is where we are. We don't care, Brent, as long as that Hard Rock Bets thing
I care.
comes up green.
I'm going to keep it a buck with you. That's the number one concern I have.
I care. I just care about the other thing.
Jag's big, ginormous.
You think it's a blowed out?
Yeah, I think they cover.
All right. Because the last time we had this conversation was Seattle-Dallas, and boy, was I wrong.
I was right.
You were right.
And that, by the way.
So how come that? So Brent, just to catch you up, because it was on overtime, the line was what, Case? Like 14.5 or something?
No.
10.5?
9.5.
9.5.
Are you sure? I thought it went to like 13 in that game.
I thought it was a big one.
When we were talking about it was 9.5, so it must have moved after.
But the point was, Case is like, no, Aaron, don't do it. Don't get sucked in. It's the NFL. It never happens. I got sucked in.
And I did not.
So why are you sucked in now?
I don't think Cincinnati has a chance.
Not one.
Oh, boy.
I don't think they can function on offense.
Well, guys, just remember that Casey was the one who jinxed it.
Yeah, that's right. How about you, Aaron? What do you think?
Yeah, Aaron.
I think it'll be a close game.
Shut up.
No, I think the Jags are going to, boat race them. I think all my bets are going to come in. That's why I made them. And I think that the Jags are going to walk away with a 2-touchdown margin, if not more.
So basically,
what you said.
What I said.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Brent.
Just with a lot less making fun of you.
I think it's a lot closer
Once again,
than
the
people
support
think.
is unbelievable.
I think the Jags get what they've been doing, the formula. They've been get out a little bit, but then I think, Cincinnati settles the game down, and the Jaguars, like, they're comfortable but never away from anyone. That's what the season has been most of the time for the Jags, right? They feel like they're dominating, but they never fully get away. I mean, outside of the Tennessee game, where it's like, okay, they got this thing. I think it will be a bit like that. I've got it like 27-19, and like the Jags, I think, are going to control most of the football game, but I think they're going to have to still make a play or two and make you a little uneasy even into the late hours here in Jacksonville tonight.
And Brent, 27-19, who's scoring for the Bengals then?
I think they can throw one up to Jamar Chase and he scores, and I think why not Mixon get in there?
Yeah, maybe McPherson sets a record or something.
Yeah, there could be like a 3 field goal game type thing.
So over 1.5. Gotcha.
I think I picked 19 because I always try to pick a score where it's like, okay, something to have like a blocked extra point or a missed extra point or just something goofy, right?
Sure.
Like a first quarter safety, like my Jets have done 3 times this season.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get a safety.
The Jets have had 3 safeties?
Yeah.
Jets have had more safeties in the first quarter than touchdowns this year.
You're joking.
That's accurate.
No, that's real.
They suck.
3 first quarter safeties, Case.
Holy smokes, that's
That is real.
awful.
That is real.
Them boys should quit.
They did. Haven't you watched? Are you kidding me?
That's a good point. Boyle and
Aaron Rodgers the other day, Reese literally said, I think I'm going to rejoin the team. I'll be on the sideline. I am not going to play. I'm just watching.
Shout outs
All right,
to a good decision.
I'll be live on TV coming up here in a bit, CBS 47 and Fox 30 at 6. And then also 7 o'clock, we have Countdown to Kickoff, 7 until 8 p.m. So hopefully you can join us for all the festivities for that post-game show tonight on Action News Jax's app and Facebook. So I'll have all the reaction, hopefully, from a Jaguars win. Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton coming up next right here on ESPN 690. And don't forget to catch Aaron Schachter in the morning on 96.9 The Eagle. You going to talk a little Jags tomorrow while you play Journey?
Most likely no.
Do you ever mention the Jags? On
Every once in a while, sure. When things are exciting and fun. If they win tonight, I'll probably mention it.
You just said
pretty
no.
fun.
You just
I was
said no.
trying
1
to be
second.
funny, Case.
Stuff
I'll
was
be
not
competing with you in the morning when I join Rich Jones once again on WSB.
It's not a
buddy, I don't know if
competition,
you've seen the
buddy.
ratings. It's not a competition.
You don't have to say it like that.
Sure I do.
Shout out, Rich. We love you, though. But yikes. If you listen to Aaron, it's probably a problem.
Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. Up next on ESPN 690. Have fun tonight, everybody. Jags and Bengals from the bank.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods is the longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in the state of Florida.
Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Duuuval!
Have a good night, everybody.
Celebrate December with Best Bet. We're giving away an incredible $275,000 in cash. Kickstart your holiday fun at Jacksonville and Orange Park with amazing promotions like $500 High-Hand Fridays, 12 Days of Christmas, and the $40,000 Guaranteed GoPo 400 Tournament. We have you covered with fun, fast card games like 1-card and 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, and more. New to the game? No worries. Our friendly dealers are ready to teach you the ropes. For all the details, head over to bestbetjax.com. That's bestbetjax.com.
Discover how good your water can be with the new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's Twin Tank non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available. We have one in our home. We absolutely love it. Have had it for over 5 years. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Right now, you can save up to $1,000 on a Connecticut K5 drinking water system when you purchase a Connecticut Premier softener. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com, 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC registered investment advisor. Florida license D056341.
On Guarding Your Nest Egg Radio, Mike Lester, founder of Talon Wealth, focuses on a key question many share. Do I have enough to retire?
For starters, we'll do the math for you. But to me, it's really more about lifestyle. I want to find out what's important to you. I want to find out what your expenses are. And then I'm going to give you a realistic expectation moving forward of how your money needs to be invested to accomplish your goals in retirement.
Get to know Mike at guardingyournestegg.com.
As you set up that budget for 2024, look at the home improvement list. Ask yourself, how much is your old AC unit worth? Bolt City Heating and Air is bringing back its annual buyback program. You get up to $1,200 for your old AC unit when you purchase a new Carrier unit with Bolt City Heating and Air. BoltCityAC.com. Let Bolt City keep your family at the right temperature and help make it a comfortable start to 2024. Bolt City Heating and Air, the AC place I use, locally owned and operated. BoltCityAC.com. ESPN690.com.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
I'm Christine Lisi. The AFC South leading Jaguars with a chance tonight to move into a tie with Miami and Baltimore atop the AFC. Jacksonville can do that with a win against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football, 8 Eastern, ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. The 49ers have emerged from the pack as the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl, 3-1 per ESPN Bet, shortest odds any team's had this season. San Francisco cemented itself as the best team in the league after its performance in Philadelphia, according to SEC Network analyst and former NFL linebacker Takeo Spikes.
For them to come out, be able to push the gas on this Philadelphia team, shut down Jalen Hurts. I mean, they put everybody on notice in the NFC and also the AFC as well.
Takeo Spikes on unsportsmanlike. Eagles agreed to a one-year deal with veteran linebacker Shaq Leonard, getting some much-needed linebacker relief. The Cowboys were the other team in the running for Leonard. Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett had surgery on a high ankle sprain. Mitchell Trubisky will start in his place Thursday night against the Patriots. The injury is not season-ending.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Ronald McDonald House Charities of Jacksonville is celebrating 35 years of supporting the health and well-being of critically ill children and their families who need to be near a hospital. To learn more, visit rmhcjacksonville.org.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
I was very caught off guard, Brian, because I remember building the playlist of the show with the open, and then I hear the overtime curse music, and I remember that you're very excited about what you did to the Oregon Ducks.
Oh, what we did. It's a partnership. I don't have power alone. It's like the codes to the nuclear bomb. Huh? You got a key, I hear. You got a key.
How do you know?
There's some codes.
Uh-huh.
Like the president can't just do it by himself, I hear.
That's what they be saying.
You know? So
Sure.
it's a team. It's teamwork.
But you're very excited to report in that we made the Oregon Ducks lose the football game.
Hey, man, them quackers up there, they just, they thought they had it.
They at no point had it.
Not at all, man.
Not at all.
Feel bad for them quackers, to be real with you. I'm gonna push that joke as hard as I can.
The Quackers?
Because they're Ducks.
I know, because they're Ducks.
I've been to Oregon one time.
You have not been to Oregon.
And I got to be real with you.
There's no chance you've been to Oregon.
A lot of quackers.
He's going back for the Quacker joke. There's no scenario where you've been to Oregon.
Absolutely have.
You have not.
Yeah, they got cool beaches. They got these huge rocks that are kind of like, I don't even know what you call them, but they're like almost triangles. It's pretty cool. Not nicer than Washington, though.
Okay.
State. Just being real with you. Not on the football field, not just state in general.
Definitely not on the football field.
But just in case you were wondering, as I pull the music back up, y'all keep playing with us here in the overtime. Huh? We make it Halloween all year long.
Well, in that
football
case,
team.
I refuse to pick tonight. That's not going to help me at all. I refuse.
I'd pick opposite of you anyway.
I refuse to pick the football game tonight because I don't know if you've heard, folks, there is a game tonight on Monday Night Football. And it's just down the street from our current location. And how y'all doing? Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton, ESPN 690. On a Monday Night Football day in Jacksonville. Long time coming in Jacksonville, but the Jags are back in the primetime spotlight on a day that starts with Mon in the front of it, making it Monday. Jags and the Bengals waited all weekend for it. It had actually about a week and the weekend for it. It is now here, and not much has changed since the last time we talked to you. The Jacksonville Jaguars, it feels like, are the better football team in this matchup without Joe Burrow for the Bengals. Vegas thinks so. Holy cow. At one point during Brent and Friends, the spread was 10.5 in the NFL.
What are we doing here?
That is dangerous, folks. 10.5 points in the NFL is a lot of points.
Bulletin board material.
I don't disagree with that at all. So Vegas thinks so. I'm not going to lie. It feels like everybody thinks so because the Cincinnati Bengals, without Joe Burrow, have not been a good football team. They have also not run the football well. So when you are down your quarterback and you haven't run the football very well against a team that stops the run very well in the Jacksonville Jaguars, it is not a good matchup tonight for the Cincinnati Bengals here in Duuuval. But I guess we'll see. I guess we will see with a 10-point spread in the game.
Listen, if I'm Aaron Brown, you hear me? If I'm Aaron Brown and I see that, I don't care if I'm the backup or not. I don't care if I'm
Brown,
the quarterback for Cincinnati.
Jake Browning?
Close enough. If I'm him,
all right.
I'm telling you right now, bulletin board material, I am summoning my Joe Burrow.
You ain't got it.
I'm summoning. You hear me? I'm going to be out here looking like Josh Dobbs last season. What was that game? Game number 16? Was that game number 16? Right?
No, 17.
Game number 17. Out here dipping and dodging, hitting no crew. Listen, 10 points, Kuhrts?
It's a lot. It's a lot in the NFL. It is low-key terrifying.
At this point, I'm thinking that whoever's setting these spreads got money. Like they're trying to shift things one way or another. Because even last week with the Seattle-Dallas game, it was so egregious to me, that 9.5 points.
Mm-hmm. That's what we talked about.
And so I'm just like, I need an investigation on how these lines are being set. And I get it. There's some, how people bet, where the money's going, and some experts. I'm sure there's a culmination of everything that kind of helped move the number prior to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But 10 points. And I love the Jags. Okay?
It's a lot of points, man. It's a lot of points.
I haven't watched Cincinnati football like that. Ain't no way, man. Ain't no way. You don't say it. Yeah, they could win by 10, but you don't say it. Holy smokes.
It's a lot of points. It is a lot of points. We expect to have the inactives before we get off the radio. So as soon as we get those, we will share them with you. A couple of things in question. Actually, one thing I can tell you for sure, Josh Peterson, son of head coach Doug Peterson, has been elevated and will be on the team for the football game. So what does that mean for the tight ends that were on the injury report in Brenton Strange and Luke Farrell? We will have to see.
Yeah.
Tyson Campbell, what does that look like? We'll have to see. We'll tell you as soon as we know, if we do know something before we get off the air. T. Higgins will play, by the way. First time in a couple of weeks for the Bengals. But again, can they get him the football is the question, and I tend to lead towards, I don't know if they can, Brian. I really do not know if they can. This is an unbelievable matchup for the Jags, and it feels almost too good to be true, which is what scares me as well as the points. Everything is leaning in the Jags' direction. Quarterback, the Jags have the advantage. Coach, Jags have the advantage. Health, Jags have the advantage. We think we'll see what the inactives look like. But the Jags are the healthier football team. I know they lost Cam Robinson. Defense, Jags are better. Offense without Joe Burrow, it's not even a question. Offensive weapons, maybe there's an argument to be had there. But I think the Jags are the better football team. So And this game is at home on a Monday night. For the first time in a long time, the fans are fired up. It's going to be packed. Everything is leaning in the Jags' direction, which is one, terrifying, but two, also really cool, because this could turn into a game, a night that is not competitive, just to be real with you.
Yeah.
It could turn into that, and Vegas may look like geniuses with the 10-point spread. And if that's the case, it will be an unbelievable coming out party for the Jags in front of the world watching this football game. Because like it or not, and you're an NFL fan and you live in Brian's favorite state of Oregon, Washington, Arizona, Utah, Montana, you are watching this football game. You ain't watching nothing else on Monday night. They moved The Bachelor because of it. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe watch some wrestling, but
Dancing with the Stars, maybe flipping back and forth. I heard CM Punk is back, so maybe. But the point is, everyone's watching this. And if the Jags could do what a lot of people in this city believe they can do in this football game, I'll be intrigued to see what it looks like tomorrow morning when you wake up and you see shows on ESPN and Fox and anywhere you watch your sports programming. Because if they cover in prime time and beat the Cincinnati Bengals by 10 or more points, that's something to talk about, no matter what Cincinnati looks like. If they win by a couple of scores, if Trevor Lawrence gets real disrespectful on him, drops a couple on him, a little 300-something yard day, maybe a rushing touchdown, that's your lead story. That's a good thing for Jacksonville.
How about you lead the rushing touchdowns to ETN? Because apparently Austin Eckler, I don't know.
Yo, I was kidding when I told you to throw the game, but you really threw it.
Yeah, and Tank Dell said, hey, man, I'm only 120 pounds. I'm only 105 pounds, okay? So I'm hard. It's hard out here. My structure is not sound. But, Kasey, you make good points. I would liken this type of game right here, and it'll sound like I'm flip-flopping. I'm not. I'll explain why in a second. But this is the kind of game that I talk about the Miami Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys have a handle on being a really good team. Really showing your dominance against teams who, yes, have NFL players and maybe some good players on their team, but as a whole, don't match up with your team. And those two teams know how to run most of those kind of teams out of the building. That is what this game probably should be for the Jags because of what they've shown us and also what we have yet to see. But with the context of everything that you just named, being at home, the stage is there. I believe they won 7 out of their last 8. Mm-hmm. Trevor really started clicking. He's been playing well in my opinion, but, the 300-plus yards last game, couple of rushing touchdowns. You always have the ETN factor, even though the past couple of weeks things have been going, not the best. You got Josh Allen on the opposite end over there, causing headaches. Even Walker was in on a half a sack here or there. There are so many things that point towards, okay, guys, not only are you a division leader, not only are you fighting for a number 1 seed, but this is one of these games where you have a wounded team in front of you who doesn't have their best player, who doesn't have their leader at the most important position. This should be something, as you put it, Kasey, it should not be competitive by the time we hit midway through the third quarter.
It should not. I agree with that.
And so, first of all, get the win.
All that matters.
But if you are who you say you are and who we believe you are, we do believe that this should be one of those games where you are going to be able to beat them by 10-plus points. My only beef with it, and I guess it's just being superstitious a little bit, I don't want to give no NFL team, no professional, especially not a team with, the wide receiving core that they have over there. I don't want to give them any type of bulletin board material, even if the Jags didn't say it themselves. Sure. You can call me scary or whatever. And really, the only team that I could see right now that should have spreads as big as that, 9.5, 10, 14 points, is the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. You can put whatever number for them, and they probably will cover. But, just back in regards with the Jags, I do believe that this is one of those games that you have to handle this is what we're supposed to do. But, if it's an overtime game and they squeak out a win, I'll be happy. But you're looking at the differences between the two teams and everything that you checked off, Kasey. It's just true. They're healthier. They're just better as a whole. And they're at home. And they're on a roll versus, they're just fluttering and sputtering over here in Cincinnati. This should not be a contest.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point with San Francisco, and they are not San Francisco. Found that out a couple of weeks ago. Nobody is San Francisco, not even Philadelphia. San Francisco, Brent said something earlier that you said 6 weeks ago, which makes you a visionary.
Hey, woo.
Now, I don't know if you want to claim it. I haven't said what he said yet. He said that right now it feels like, knock on wood, it would take someone to get hurt for San Francisco to not win it all.
I said it. I claim it.
And
injury bug.
That's what it looks like. The Jags are not that. They got proven that on their home field. But what's at stake for the Jags tonight is this. Back-to-back winning seasons, because this would be number 9. And this would be, for the time being, the number 1 seed in the AFC. That's what's on the line. And if you are a team that is capable of being in the number 1 seed, if you are a team that's capable of winning the AFC, if you're a team that thinks that maybe, just maybe, one night in Vegas, you can play with San Fran and you can play with Philly, you have to beat a team that is on their backup quarterback that really has no business playing, that barely has 5 wins this year and looks like they're one punch away from getting knocked out cold in the 2023 season, because that's what the Bengals are. And if the Jags want to be the team that they think they are, and maybe that they are, this is a take care of your business game on your field in front of your fans who are fired up, that have been waiting on this moment for a very long time. That's what's at stake tonight for the Jags. You're right when you say all that matters is they win by a point when the clock is all 0 in the 4th or potentially overtime. That's all that matters. But if you want people to truly believe that you can hang with San Fran in Vegas, or even get to Vegas for the opportunity to hang with San Fran, you need to win this thing handily. They're capable, but will they, is the question. If I knew, we wouldn't have to talk about it. I don't know. But we're going to find out in right around 2 hours' time is when we're going to find out.
And this is what I am hoping. This is what I am hoping and praying will not happen. A slow start. I can deal with some lulls in the game. Sometimes your offense gets out of whack. Sometimes the opposing offense gets into a rhythm, and defensively it's just like, what's going on? That happens in every professional sport, I believe. I don't follow baseball closely enough, but I assume that happens even in baseball at times, right? The Jags have had the propensity at home, more times than not this season, to start off flat. And I am just hoping that is not the case here. Because as you mentioned, this isn't a 1 o'clock kickoff on Sunday or a 4:25 kickoff on Sunday, where maybe you're getting played regionally, but people are, they'll catch your highlights if they want to catch you at all.
Right.
This is the crown jewel. Mm-hmm. We right here, everybody is watching. And, I'm always saying, Doug and Trent, they've built up enough currency, and they have. They just have. Doug Peterson has built up more than enough currency. 1, the Super Bowl win, but 2, what he's done here in under 2 years, basically. Mm-hmm. But that can't be a factor right there. Like, I'm all for thrilling games and comebacks. Mm-hmm. I don't want that.
Not
please don't.
That's probably what it's going to look like against Baltimore.
Okay.
Not tonight. Handle your business tonight. That's what you got to do.
What's the thing that worries you? I just said what worried me. What's the thing that worries you about this particular game in regards to Cincinnati having a chance to keep this close and maybe pull out a win?
I think there's a couple of things that kind of all have to go Cincinnati's way. One, it would start with a Tyson Campbell inactive. Because Jamar Chase is still a dog.
Yeah.
Right? T. Higgins is still a dog. So I guess you start there. Because if you're saying who's more likely to get beat, and this is no disrespect, but Monteric Brown, Tyson Campbell, I'm riding with Tyson Campbell, right? So Jamar Chase on a backup corner could make that interesting. They still got to get him the football, which is where the second part comes in. The Jags, against this mediocre offensive line, have to bully them. Everybody that you're paying on that defensive line, leave out the edge rushers. I'll get there. But your interior guys that you're paying, you brought Smoot back. You're paying Roy Robertson-Harris. You're paying Foley. Devon Hamilton, we'll see if he's active. Gotsis has played well. Push. You need push from the middle because then your edge guys can eat. Because I believe Josh and Trayvon might have a big night. But if you don't get that, then that's a scenario. So those two things kind of coupled together would be one potential. The other is if the Jags beat themselves on offense.
Okay.
Just plain and simple. If Trevor turns it over, an inopportune fumble, which they've had plenty of, by the way, from multiple different people. It's not just one guy. Tank Bigsby's had a couple. Travis Etienne going back to last year. Trevor Lawrence has fumbled the football. Christian Kirk has randomly fumbled the football. You go to drops. They've had some. Ingram had a couple last week, which was odd. Calvin had the one in the end zone. So if that starts to kind of swirl, that's about the only two scenarios I can find, Brian. And maybe all those things have to happen together. Because I don't think there's a scenario where they line up and Cincinnati just beats them. I don't believe they're built for it right now.
Yeah.
I believe there's scenarios where they could make it tough. Hendrickson, Hubbard, the boys, their pass rush, their guys, could they take it to Walker Little and Anton Harrison a little bit? Maybe. But I don't think their secondary can stick with the Jags receivers if Trevor has time to throw the football. No matter what's going on with Travis Etienne, because, again, we don't 100% know that he will be the lead back for the Jags tonight because of the ribs. But even if he's not, I believe Dearness Johnson can put in work. I believe Tank Bigsby might be given more of an opportunity. So, I think you're kind of grasping for straws here, Brian, but I think those are the overall theme is I think the Jags would have to beat themselves.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back into that's kind of scary to think that there's no way Cincinnati can win. Because they still got to hold Jamar Chase. But they can't get him the ball. Last week he had to catch passes that were deflected off of other players. That's where this was for Cincinnati. Why they've done nothing about their quarterback situation? One, I know there's not a lot to do, but I saw Joe Flacco was available. He goes to Cleveland. No, did they win? No, they did not. But did it look better on offense for Cleveland than it's looked really with any other quarterback? Maybe a little bit. So, I don't know. But it feels like the Jags would have to really have to beat themselves or look like a first half against the Chargers. Something like that.
Which, yeah, you're right. You're talking about playoff Chargers? Yeah.
But that was all them beating themselves. But it feels like just the way these two teams are built right now, lining up against each other, I don't know how you can't think the Jags are the favorite, and Vegas clearly does.
Do you think that ETN gets back on track rushing yards wise? Is this a game where it looks like, okay, it's been a little paltry the past couple of weeks. I know he's still been catching the ball. It hasn't been zero in that department.
Right.
But there's been a struggle. Granted, he's faced some pretty good defenses, at least some pretty good, front sevens, and I think there's been more of a keying in on him because of what he did probably the first 7, 8, 9 games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think this is a game where they can get back on track? Cincinnati's run defense, okay, I guess it's fine. It's not Cleveland. It's not San Francisco. Is this something where you would want to at least see some increase in production there as far as just run blocking and the actual overall yards rushing? Or are you just fine, like however he gets his yards, he's getting his yards?
I think, here's what I think that I'm not necessarily going to answer this question for Travis Etienne because I really don't know how much they're going to use him. I think as a whole and as a team, they will run the football well tonight.
Okay.
I think Dearness Johnson has a big night. I think if Travis Etienne plays a full load, he has a huge night. And I think we see some Tank Bigsby. I really do. I think they will get back on track running the football tonight because I think they're going to do a lot of it. Again, that goes back to the Jags probably up in the football game if you're running the ball at that clip. But I think they will kind of fix some of that. I think up front, they can push that defensive line around. They do have good edge rushers, but in terms of the run department, I think they can push them around. And this is the first starting installment of the Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland era, if you will.
That's right.
On the left side.
That's right.
Ezra Cleveland, good run blocker. So do they run that way a little bit? And I think it's possible. So, again, it's unfortunate that Cam Robinson got hurt, but I'll say it again. I think they now have their best installment of their offensive line. I really do. And, yeah.
That's cold-blooded, though.
It is.
You'd have to repeat it from last week, but okay.
I think they'll run the ball well tonight. I really do. And I don't necessarily know if that means Travis Etienne is the main factor there. Because if he is battling something and you start fast, like you talked about, if they can start fast,
there'll be no need to really.
Maybe just hang out.
Yeah.
We got Dearness Johnson. We really need to get Tank Bigsby some carries. So,
I mean, forget Brian's fantasy team. He already lost anyway.
I walloped you, dog.
I mean, so.
It's ugly.
I mean, because
you
got
what's
Debo.
funny?
You got Debo and CMC, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's crazy?
What?
So I thought if I could pull out the win, I had a chance at the playoffs. I don't.
Still?
No, it's over. I'm eliminated because Scott, who's Team Baker, shout out my guy Scott Baker, is winning. So he's going to be 8-5. I'm 7-6. I can't get there.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get eliminated. This is how unlucky I was in fantasy. I had Debo and McCaffrey didn't make the playoffs. I scored more points than everybody but two people in the league not making the playoffs.
No defense. Hey, man, I was trying to get McCaffrey on a winning squad.
Yeah.
Well, I got to check to make sure I can still get in the playoffs. I lose again.
You're locked in, Brian.
Oh, now I am?
You're locked in.
Okay.
Even with the loss to me.
All right. The only person to beat me both times in the season. When I hold up the Super Bowl championship, I'm going to be like, you know what, Kurtz, come up here too. Yeah. You deserve to do this as well.
I'll be looking for my cut of the pay then, right?
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, right. All right.
I'm not mad at it.
Let's take a break. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. Monday Night Football night in Jacksonville. What a moment. Jags and the Bengals. Christmas bump. Okay. I was very confused about what was happening. Shout out to it. We do have to have a conversation, though, about what happened this weekend. College football conference championships happened this weekend. We here at ESPN 690, the official station of the Florida State Seminoles, does not mean we have to agree or disagree with the decisions that were made by the College Football Playoff Committee. I will tell you, and Brian will tell you, what he thinks of those decisions, as Florida State, as an undefeated conference champion, has been left out of the College Football Playoff. I'll tell you my thoughts. Brian will tell you your thoughts. A little more Jags before we get out of here and get set for Monday Night Football down at the bank. The Bengals and the Jags. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton. Brian Middleton, Kasey Kuhrts. BRB.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Much cooler tonight, still with some partly cloudy skies as temperatures dip down into the 40s away from the beaches and lower 50s to the immediate coast. Needing the jackets early Tuesday with partly cloudy skies and cool high temperatures in the mid-60s. Sunshine returns by Wednesday with breezy conditions, highs in the upper 50s to lower 60s with some early morning frost by Thursday, highs back into the 60s with sunshine. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Trevor Gibbs.
A holiday message from Jackson Hewitt.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to get money the same day.
Starting December 11th, walk into a Jackson Hewitt for an early loan on your tax refund, and you could walk out with up to $1,000.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to get money. Missing out would be cray.
Appointments go fast. Book yours now at jacksonhewitt.com. Early refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Finance charge applies. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Gah, I'm so stressed about my business not being ready for the holidays.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
As the weather gets colder, the NFL offers Stay Hot on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus in President State where lawful to wager. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. First online real money wager, only $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700 visit KSGamblingHelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Help is here. Visit gamblinghelpma.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
Men, suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8221. That's 904-664-8221.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here with my son Ammon, the air duct manager. Ammon, your mother was complaining that the dryer is taking too long to dry the clothes. Could this have something to do with the dryer vent being plugged up?
Most definitely. Over time, dryer lint builds up in the exhaust vent and makes it increasingly difficult for the dryer to push the air out. This makes it take longer and cost more money to dry the laundry.
So, what can I do about it?
Call Zero Res. We can bring out our powerful truck mount system and clean out that dryer vent completely. We attach our vacuum line to the bottom, run our air whip lines down the vent from the top, loosening all the buildup and extracting it into the waste tank on our truck.
So how much is it going to cost me?
We charge $200 to clean it from the top to bottom. But for you, Dad, I'm offering $25 off.
So is that just for me or is that for everybody?
We'll do it for everyone.
So if I call right now, I can save $25?
That's right. Zero Res, spelled forward or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
ZEROREZ. Zero Res.
Jay is a foodie and a chef.
I'm a food truck owner with dreams of something bigger.
And at Community First, we get that. And we get you. We were founded over 88 years ago to help members live their best lives by providing the financial services they need. Today, that includes digital banking, great rates, and local decision-making.
So just be yourself.
At Community First and on the go. Learn more at communityfirstfl.org. Member NCUA.
Koala Insulation.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. It's a great time of year to invest in energy-efficient improvements to your home. With our competitive rates and new tax credits for insulation upgrades, you can get huge savings to improve your insulation today and see long-term savings every month going forward.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
With stores in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwoods has the largest American Gem Society credentialed staff east of the Mississippi River.
Hey, this is Brian Middleton, and I know most people are under the impression that losing weight kills all things fun. Why? Because every meal plan, workout program, and diet they've tried before did. Here's Paige, owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss, regarding your holiday festivities.
One of the big concerns that we get from a lot of people this time of year especially is, how am I going to have fun through the holidays, or tolerate my family through the holidays, or go to those company holiday parties without drinking? And on Awaken 180 Weight Loss, you don't have to worry about that, because you still can drink alcohol. We, of course, want you to drink responsibly, but our coaches will help you find drinks that you can still enjoy on Awaken 180 Weight Loss while seeing great weight loss results.
Thanks, Paige. For me, losing weight with Awaken 180 is a game changer. 60 pounds down in just 3 months. For the same results, get started today at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800.
If you're the victim of a car crash, never rush to settle with the insurance companies and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
This year, make a difference that lasts. Join Malavia Washington Youth Foundation's year-end giving and help transform the lives of underserved youth in Jacksonville. Your contribution will help provide educational resources, mentoring, and life skills programs with the mission of building champions in the classroom, on the tennis courts, and throughout communities. Make a difference in the lives of our future leaders by donating at malwashington.com. Again, that's malwashington.com. You can make a real impact.
Visit Boot Barn for savings on top quality holiday gifts this week only. We're offering $40 off exotic cowboy boots and up to $40 off select leather western boots. Our holiday specials this week also include 25% off select outerwear, western shirts, flannels, and jeans. Additionally, we're offering savings on children's outerwear and denim. Visit us this week and save on gifts for the whole family. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe.
You're a mean one. You really are a hero.
I like this one. I liked this one last year. Okay.
Oh, no, Tyler, the creator, man. Huh?
This is Tyler, the creator?
Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
Making music, just being.
He still makes music? I'm not even kidding. Being rich is solid.
Being famous.
You know he like hates his popular songs? Have you ever?
Yeah, I've heard that. That's fine, I guess.
He gets like all mad when he has to play them. I'm like,
you don't hate that streaming check though. He don't turn that back in.
I know people still streaming those songs every day.
Stand on your business. Stand on business, young king.
I heard one the other day. Listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
He got all of his dollar, whatever you get from them streams.
Hey, he was like, you know what? I hate it so much. Give it to charity.
Yeah. Okay.
Said no.
No one ever. Oh boy. Brian Middleton on the ones and twos, playing the Tyler the Creator Christmas bump. Kasey Kuhrts as well for another 25 or so before the Jags and the Bengals on Monday Night Football. Unfortunately, you will not be able to hear the football game. Usually you hear Monday Night Football here on the station. Not tonight because the game is local. Rumor has it somebody else has it. That's just what they be saying. But you can watch it on ESPN. I strongly advise for that. ESPN is the spot to watch. And we'll talk about it all tomorrow on Brent and Friends, as well as Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton.
Okay.
All right. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like you don't know the news, because you know the news.
Okay.
The Florida State Seminoles, the undefeated Florida State Seminole ACC champions,
all right,
are left out of the college football playoff. Brian?
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
And I just started doing the out time, and that's something.
Sorry.
No, you're good. We got plenty of time. Kasey, being a part of ESPN 690, the official station of Florida State football, basketball, baseball, probably, but definitely football and basketball. It almost felt a bit obligatory to at least show some support. And honestly, 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, when these scenarios started rearing their ugly head, these hypotheticals, 125%. I was like, if Florida State wins out,
they're going.
We don't got no question.
There are no questions.
There
the only
should
question
be no question.
Is which one loss goes.
You
know only
I mean?
one goes.
There should be no question. Kasey, I watched the FSU Louisville game.
It was not pretty.
And I watched it. Basically, I gave my full attention to it after I watched Alabama UGA.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be real with you. I was so disgusted by how close this game was.
I'll give you that.
By the way that game went offensively, right? Because I get it. Defensively, they're going to be like, listen, we a CFP defense right here. Them boys, Louisville, they wasn't nothing. We said they wasn't nothing. 6 points. That's all they got. I feel you, bro, but you're a team. Starting 11 on the defense for FSU.
By the way, talking about that defense real quick before you go on.
Go ahead.
In that football game, Jeff Brom, the head coach of Louisville, first year, great job. Last time his team was held to 6 points or less, October 26, 2019.
Crazy.
It does not happen. But, hey, Florida State's only Jordan Travis. But please continue.
Pre-COVID.
I
feel you.
Hadn't even heard, wasn't even sniffing COVID yet. Didn't even know it was out there or potentially coming.
Maybe you did. Oh, you didn't know, but maybe you did sniff it already.
That's fair. That's a good point.
It was light work. But my point is
it was just a flu then.
I was so, and I mean it, I was disgusted after watching multiple teams. I watched multiple conference championship games over, Friday and Saturday prior to that game. And I was like, oh, these boys not getting in. Did you
think that?
Yeah, I was like, they're not getting in. And then what I did at nighttime, I texted Kasey Kuhrts, and I gave him a list of teams that would bash Florida State's head in only because of the way that the offense looked. I didn't specify that in the text. I believe that it went something like Alabama would run these boys out the building. UGA would run these boys out the building. And I think I said Texas would beat them by like 20 or something like that.
You said
you got it. Okay.
Oregon would dog walk
That's
FSU.
That's what it was. Yeah, definitely.
UGA would dog walk FSU, pun intended.
Yeah.
Texas might beat them by 21, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, to be real. And the dog, yeah, that's right, because I did it, D-A-W-G for UGA, yeah. Pun intended. And I firmly believe that.
You may be right.
I don't think I would have had that feeling with Jordan Travis on the field.
Absolutely not.
And I don't think that Louisville game would have looked like that with Jordan Travis on the field.
No, they would have blown him out.
And so here's the ultimate way that I feel about it. Florida State did what they were supposed to do in order to go to the college football championship game, except for the final game. And I get it, 13-0 was 13-0, except when it's not.
But it was.
13-0 against what do you call it? The high school level difficulty is different than 12-1 versus Heisman level difficulty, going back to NCAA football. Okay, I don't want to disrespect the ACC with junior varsity level, so I'll go high school. Okay, but it wasn't All-American. And is that FSU's fault? That every potential team in the ACC over the past 5 to 7 years that were great, i.e. Clemson or even North Carolina, was looking like they were going to be something in the beginning of the season. Heck, Wake Forest has had a year or two, in those past 5 to 7 years where you're just like, okay, is it their fault that everybody was down and the one team in Louisville who was showing up and showing out until, 2.5 weeks ago, is it their fault that everybody else sucked in the ACC? No. But that's the other team, the other teams that got in, it's not their fault either. And to be real with you, the resume does look better. And then when you do not handle business the way that a college football playoff team should handle business, Kasey Kuhrts, against Louisville, who lost to Kentucky, who lost to Pittsburgh, that had 18 losses this season. It's just crazy because they only play 11 games or 12 games. That's crazy that they got 18 losses. And Louisville lost to them, and then you're struggling with that team? You did it to yourselves. I feel bad for Mike Norvell. I feel bad for those kids who look up, and they should feel this way. We're 13-0. We're a Power 5 conference champion. We should be in. You should feel that way. But if you take a step back, you take your emotions out of it, and apparently it's the best 4 teams that are supposed to go in there, all 4 of those teams on there would dog walk FSU as constructed right now, mainly because of the offense. Again, I don't want to take anything away from that defense, who honestly is high level. One more thing, Kasey, handing it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted this to you as well. 2 losers, college football playoffs. FSU, the biggest loser.
Mm-hmm.
Second biggest loser, the Michigan Wolverines. Because they was like, oh, we gonna be in the national championship game because they gotta put Florida State in, right? Even if they put, for some reason, a 1-loss team at number 3, which would have still been crazy if Florida State was like the 4 seed, but they got in, and Texas was the 3 seed. You'd be like, that's wild, And then instead of getting a Jordan Travis-less Florida State team, discombobulated looking offense. You get Nick Saban.
It's wild.
Alabama and Milroe out here. That's looking like, Milroe, his passing is fine. But you get that team? Good luck, Michigan. Hope you got somebody with Alabama gear that can sneak in for some of them practices. Because that's going to be your path to the national championship game got a whole lot more difficult by that decision from the committee.
It's funny you mentioned Jalen Milroe because I think he plays an interesting role here. Because 6 weeks ago, this guy was taken out, benched, not good enough for Nick Saban, comes back in, and look how well he's playing. I tend to think that in the next month, if Mike Norvell every day was working with Tate Rodemaker, I sit here and say, Florida State has a chance in that football game if they play Michigan with Tate Rodemaker. Do they win? I don't know. But I look at what happened with Jalen Milroe, and I say, yeah, Mike Norvell could get that guy ready to play football. The Florida thing, it didn't look great. He's concussed against Louisville, doesn't play. I get it. But Mike Norvell should have been given the opportunity for another month with Tate Rodemaker to get him ready to play football and potentially beat the Michigan Wolverines in the college football playoff. But he was robbed of that opportunity. And you may be right that right now, if those two teams played today on this Monday, the 4th of December, they would all dog walk Florida State. And you're right. In a month, I don't know if that's true. But here's what's garbage about the whole thing. Knowing that Jordan Travis is not in the football game, knowing that Tate Rodemaker was likely not going to play, Mike Norvell looked at his defense and say, I need something here. You've had moments. We've had moments on offense. But this defense is the way we're going to win an ACC championship. And his defense went out there and played one of the best damn football games that those kids have ever played. It was pre-COVID the last time, I said it, a Jeff Brom team had been held to that few points. He challenged them kids. They responded and won a damn ACC championship and deserved to go to the college football playoff. They did every single thing right. They won every single game. It did not matter by how many. They beat 2 SEC teams, one on the road and one at a neutral site.
Oh, okay.
They did everything right. And the College Football Playoff Committee looked all of us dead in the face and said the ACC does not matter and the regular season does not matter. Neither matter. They looked right at Florida State and said, you cannot recruit. It does not matter because if you're in the ACC and go 13-0, you're not getting in our playoff.
No.
That's what they said.
No, that's not what they said.
No, it's literally what they said. You're not getting in our playoff at 13-0.
Oh, well, okay. I'm sorry.
Is that not what they said?
No. I want you to continue your point because you let me talk. So I'll rebuttal after you're finished.
Is that not? That's what they said. So now, after all of this 13-0, this flip for Mike Norvell to go from the unbelievable grossness that was going on at Florida State to now being an undefeated college ACC champion and not getting in the college football playoff just feels disgusting because they did what they were asked to do. But here's the crazy part. Here's the part I can't get over, Brian. What did the College Football Playoff Committee do here? Because there's two schools of thought right now. The overwhelming one is this. Well, they put in the best 4 teams. They didn't. And I'm not even talking about Florida State. There is no scenario where you can sit here and tell me that in the best 4 teams in college football that the Georgia Bulldogs are not one of them. So for them to say we put the best 4 in is not true. Because if the Georgia Bulldogs played, I understand they just lost to Alabama, but against any of those teams, the Georgia Bulldogs are favored in the football game. I'm just telling you. So I will not sit here and listen to, we put the best 4 teams in. You didn't because Georgia's one of the best 4 teams. They lost at a bad time. I understand why they're not in, but they're one of the best 4 teams. So then you're going to sit here and say, oh, well, Florida State didn't go because their quarterback's hurt. Well, you didn't put in the best 4 quarterbacks.
Well, no. They're also saying that they're not one of the best 4 teams. They didn't just stop at quarterback. Florida State's not one of the best 4 teams in the nation. Again, Kasey.
I understand that, but everybody is saying if Jordan Travis is healthy, you just said it, they would go. Undefeated with Jordan Travis, they go. So if you're
they
going
would be one of the best 4 teams, probably.
Right. So if you're going to sit here and say it all relies on the quarterback.
No, but for them, it does rely on the quarterback. Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. They just gave up 6 points.
All right. Well, hey, listen.
Because if you're going to tell me that it's the best 4 quarterbacks, I need to see USC. I need to see North Carolina. I need to see Oregon.
No.
And I need to see LSU.
All right. So, and I get it. It's going to be 53-20.
Cool.
Get out sometime around then.
Mm-hmm.
Kasey, again, the best 4 teams. The one part that you're missing is, yes, Florida State, they went 13-0. You named the LSU team that they beat was I think the 5th best team in the
At
SEC.
the time. Oh, what?
I'm talking about right now, the 5th best team in the SEC. I'm just probably somewhere around there. The 5th to 6th. You talk about beating the Florida team. I get it, on the road. Yeah, I guess that's fine. And there was a level of difficulty there. But overall, the difference between putting another team in like an Alabama or a Texas over a Florida State that's undefeated is, if you're talking about stuff doesn't matter as far as the regular season, it does matter.
It doesn't.
And it matters because of, look at the losses for Texas and look at the losses for Alabama versus the no losses for Florida State.
That's actually hold on. What did Texas do to get in this game?
They won their conference championship.
I understand. Who did they beat? They beat Alabama.
Well, they had to beat Alabama.
They beat
and
Alabama.
They were tied at the hip. And they were tied at the hip.
In week 2.
That's fine, but they were tied at the hip. If Alabama would have gotten in with the 1 loss and some reason Texas was out of there, this would have been a whole nother level of disgusting, because you would have had a conference championship in the Longhorns, a conference champion in the Longhorns who beat Alabama, and somehow Alabama got in and they didn't get in.
I get that, but I have no beef with Alabama today. Everybody's complaining about Alabama. I have no beef with Alabama. Alabama beat a team that hadn't lost in 2 years. Alabama deserves to go.
And
Texas Longhorns do not.
Texas beat Alabama, which beat a team that just beat an SEC conference champion who also beat UGA. They won their conference championship, and their 1 losses to Oklahoma, and their resume as a whole is better. The great wins of Florida State are who?
Where's
Louisville?
Oklahoma today?
What, they're number 12, number 13?
Without a quarterback.
That's fine. But the quarterback was there for that game. And it was a thrilling game. I'm not going to necessarily penalize a team because they do the scheduling that you ask for. That's a part of the committee, looking at who gets into this 14 playoff. They schedule in Alabama. Alabama schedules Texas, and then you win that game as Texas, or you lose that game at Alabama early on, and then you got a Florida State team that's playing a junior varsity schedule this year. The ACC is down. The ACC let Florida State down. Nobody else did. Not Texas, not the committee, not Alabama. None of those people or entities did. The ACC did. Clemson, Miami being goofy in the middle of the season, Wake Forest, UNC being 10th or 11th in week 3 or 4, then just falling off the face of the map. Louisville losing to Kentucky, losing to Pitt. The ACC let them down, Kasey Kuhrts. Nobody else. So if you want to say something, and I was talking to Terry about this, it was a good point from him, just get out the ACC. Go 13-0 somewhere else. Go 12-1 somewhere else. SEC, I don't care where you go. Get out the ACC because they let you down. Nobody else did. Your JV schedule versus an actual collegiate schedule, Heisman schedule, I'm going to go with them. It sucks. It sucks. So be it. They'll be all right. They're playing UGA. Prove me that we were wrong and go out there and route UGA.
Yeah, you can't say that. They're not going to play. Nobody's going to play.
No, nobody's going to play.
You're going to have half opt-outs at Georgia, and you're going to have half opt-outs at Florida State. It's a meaningless football game that will be played in that one. I'm just floored.
Wow.
That the college football playoff committee looked a whole conference in the face and told them they're worthless.
Not worthless, but Kasey, come on.
Worthless.
The ACC was beyond down. They said the SEC was down this season. True. The ACC was under the cemetery this season, besides Florida State.
Called them worthless. Right to their face.
Yeah, kind of worthless.
Worthless right to their face.
If Louisville could have held on, then Florida State would be in. That's just plain and simple. if
They coulda held
Louisville
on.
could have held on to one of those games that they lost prior to meeting Florida State, Florida State would be in. Jordan Travis or not. They didn't hold on, and then they played, I guess, a great game to get back to Louisville football all of a sudden in the conference championship game. I don't know, man.
I really don't understand all the love for Texas. Go look at the games Texas won. They beat TCU, who was awful, by 3. They barely beat all of these garbage teams, went into overtime with multiple with them. I don't understand the love for Texas, but the hate for Florida State, other than the quarterback.
It's not hate.
Very similar schedules, Brian. Go look them up. And what the teams that they played did.
It's not hate, except their best wins are better than Florida State's. Again, the resume, it's a matter of inches at this point.
Agree to disagree.
They'll be all right.
Because I don't think Texas's wins outside of Bama are better than Florida State's. That's all I'm saying.
You got it.
Way to go, Brian. You made us late.
Yeah, man.
You just kept talking.
Get these hard-coded stuff out right now. Go ahead.
Probably a good idea. I forgot to give you the inactives. You better get those things out because I do have the inactives for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the football game. Hopefully this music bed is long and hopefully the
Like
Wi-Fi
20 seconds.
is cooking. Tyson Campbell will play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Brenton Strange, Monteric Brown will not. Devon Hamilton active as well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's on ESPN. For Brian Middleton, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. Have a good night, everybody. I want to eat a spicy chicken in my Tesla. Is it too much to ask?
The deal of the year is here at Arlington Toyota.